3, 2. Oh my God.
What's up?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the program.
Time to airtime, y'all podcast.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. We have an absolute legendary cinematographer. This individual has helped document some of the greatest snowboarders, snowboard films, and has been a part of the journey since the mid-90s until present, and has documented some of the best and most monumental moments in snowboarding, starting with videos like Amp, Stand and Deliver, The Resistance, True Life, Nixon Jib Fest, Derelictica, Promo Copy, the Yes films, and on. Absolute legend. Thank you for coming on the show. Pascal Gallant, how you doing?
Good, you?
Good, man. Living the dream. What are you doing today, bud?
Today, well, I'm doing this, and then I'm going to go at the bike park.
Nice.
Yeah.
Still biking.
Fuck yeah.
It's kind of gnarly, isn't it?
It is. Well, it's the only gnarly thing I can still do. Like, I can't really skate and snowboard much anymore. Like, my hip is pretty messed up. My back landing leg. The back landing leg is pretty much done.
Is it from snowboarding, sledding?
Oh, yeah. No, snowboarding and skating. Yeah, for sure.
Was there one injury specifically that kind of took out the back leg and you're like fucking still kind of nursing it?
No, I think it happened like maybe at say 2010, 11. I start feeling I couldn't ollie properly anymore. It's like my hips were not, and it's not like I had a lot of trick. I was a decent skater, but like ollieing was like I had a good ollie.
That's it. That's all you need.
Yeah, and I was like, oh man, I can't ollie properly anymore. This sucks. And running out, I think it started clicking, like just stiff, and then my back knee too, from all the years from landing, being sideways since like 84, 85, kind of like takes it away.
Do you think that mountain biking more resembles snowmobiling or snowboarding?
Could be a mix of both, because you can use the mountain, you know what I mean? Like, it's like sledding, but yeah, it's not, because you can jump, you can go fast. There's all like different type, like doing lines snowboarding. Well, it's like doing super steep lines, pretty much mountain biking. If you watch Rampage, like that's next level shit.
It's like riding.
But the line they do, if you look last year, like there was a line with like 3 drops in it that Zink built with the 2 other guys hit it. And that was like, honestly, standing at the top, I was like, this is like snowboard stuff, but on bikes with rocks and hard dirt. Like some of the stuff, I think Rampage is probably the gnarliest extreme contest out there.
Well, because they're kind of riding the mountain, which is not covered in snow. So it's just dirt and rock and stumps as pillow lines with no pillows. You know what I mean?
Pretty much. And then even drop size, what they do threes and backflip off is snowboard size cliff drop pretty much. So what you do in the backcountry when you build your flat takeoff with landing, same thing, but on a bike.
Yeah, honestly, it's getting fucking ridiculous. There's a moto guy out of the interior, Chris Foster, who really started, like, I feel like was part of that, like, line riding, free riding, dirt biking in the mountains. Like, it's insane. I remember his X Games shit coming out, like, this is probably a decade ago, and I was like, that's what people are doing on moto? Like, I thought people were still doing backflips, you know what I mean? On, like, kickers, and he's just, like, fucking riding down lines. I'm like, wow, progression.
I think the Krusty guys started that in the 90s, like Krusty Demons of Dirt, like John Freeman that did all the camper video. He started with snowboard videos.
Damn.
All the Creatures of Habit.
Yeah.
Those were like the camper movies. So they were movies where it was like snowboarding, but there was partying in it and moto and skating. It was a bit of everything. Like, it was not the clean video. Like, filming was all over the place, but it was like you watch it and it was entertainment from beginning to the end.
Kind of probably inspired CKY then, or some shit like that.
I think too, it was a bit like a whiskey of the States. kind of different, you know?
Dope.
And that's where like Damian Sanders, Zabo, like Double O Zabo. Have you ever seen that Plastic Soldier? The movie that he has the skit where he's like
the James Bond. Yeah, that's fire. Yeah.
And those guys started, and there was dirt biking in there because Zabo was a really good. He passed away.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Yeah,
I got his
rest
book
in
actually recently in
He's
the
a
mail.
good friend of mine, and yeah,
No way.
yeah, he used to come mountain bike all the time here.
Dude, he's so fucking sick. Like he passed away. I always knew the name as this historical figure
Oh,
that was
you're
around
psycho.
like the Dan Donnelly era, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this guy's a legend, Zabo, and like cool graphics, like the Zabo,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
the pink Zabo graphic
Yeah.
and shit. I was like, dude, this guy's sick. And then I rewatch all of his footage, and it's like timeless footage.
Yeah.
Like,
he was funny too. Like and those guys, he was a really good moto rider, and all those guys moto, like Damian Sanders, and they were all,
Palmer.
yeah, they were all friends. And those guys started going when they went dirt biking in those canyon in California. Like they used the terrain like snowboarding, and the moto racer guy didn't see it that way. So they kind of started like Damian and Zabo and those guys kind of started the Crusty Demon, like, you know, like free ride thing, because they were hitting lines, like stuff different. And then all the pro moto guys were like, oh, they had the actual real skill, you know? So they took it the next level.
So you think that snowboarding had an impact on how moto kind of transitioned?
The free
slightly?
ride from those guys, I think those guys had a bit of an impact.
Rad.
I think some people could, you know,
Yeah,
John Freeman, those guys could maybe say something, you know, maybe they know more, but I know those guys. And if you watch Crusty Demons of Dirt 1, Zabo was in it, Damien had shots in it, and that's when Seth Enslow started being in it. They all live in the same house at Damien's house in Huntington Beach. And we used to go there all the time from like September till November, hang out in Huntington, me and my brother. And yeah, we used to go hang out at their house all the time. And that in the house, I think Zabo lived there, Damien, Seth Enslow, Dana Nicholson, like all those guys.
And so you mentioned there some historical figures, you know, Damian Sanders. Like maybe let's start with him. Like what was it like? He's kind of like one of the original rock stars of snowboarding, if not the first. Like what was it like to hang out with him? Was he with the Pent girls and like?
Well, it was like we moved there pretty much. Like he was an influence for me and my brother. Like Damien was like, because he went big. And we always, like, when we're a kid, you know, I don't think it was about the trick. There was always guys in our crew, other people were more about technical trick and, like, instead of going big, doing stuff cleaner and, like, skating or snowboarding. But I think we were always about, like, going big than the technical clean.
It's kind of sick.
Yeah, like, it was a thing. Damien was, like, that's all he was about. Like, him, Steve Graham, like Dave Sony, those guys were just going massive. Zabo, like it was all about like hitting the biggest jump. Now remember, I think it was Critical Condition. Watching he was hitting the wind lip on Blackcomb, and we were like, we gotta move there. And that's the first thing he hit when he came here the first time. And when the first day I went up, that's what I hit. I was like, where's the wind lip? Worst jump ever.
Did you land?
Oh no, dude, explosion.
Yo, let me jump here. I got to jump at the bit here. Okay, so the Blackcomb Windlip, I think that everybody in Canada has seen like monumental clips on this thing. You come here, you launch off it, you do the trick that you should never try ever off it. You know what I mean? And you just fucking die. And then I remember there's these viral clips of these Japanese riders hitting this fucking thing, doing double corks and going as big as Travis Rice and landing on their heads and doing like double back row in the 90s. And these schmob kids are hitting this like triple back flips and just everyone dies on that thing. Like, where are the clips of people landing? Like,
well, I think you can land. We used to build it a bit at the beginning. One time I saw guys do it where it's smaller, and then then it was landable because you didn't. But at the peak of it, where everyone hits, like it's a perfect jump, but then the landing just falls away
forever.
So all you do is you go up, and at one point there was no more momentum. So you're just like dropping. It's like dropping something of a balcony. You're in the air, and then you're just like. you know. And there's a iconic photo that I don't know who took that photo of Doug. Our
Oh,
friend
yeah.
Doug hitting it in like 89 maybe or something like that. And it's just a picture taken from the back, and he's no grab, just kind of a method. But it's like he's probably like 60 feet in the air just going, you know.
When you first saw that photo, what came to your head? Because it's kind of a mind-melting photo.
Yeah, you're like, okay. But then you're like, oh, did he land? But it was crazy. And they used, in the early 90s, they used to be those road contests that were just put up there, just like word to mouth, you know, like people like, oh, on Friday, there's a contest on the wind lip. And everybody, like, I think it was like $5 or $10. You put money, and the winner took all the money. And people brought like a radio up there. And it was just like everyone knew about it. So the snowboarder and the skiers were going up there. And it was just like, man, dude. Remember watching like skiers hitting that, going so big, and in the air just grabbing their poles and like ditching their poles in the air and start like, you know, flapping your arm like it's gonna save you or make you fly a bit longer.
There's
and then skis just like ejecting.
You gotta love when people go so big that their like jacket and pants start to play a role in the air. You know what I mean? Like there's clips of like Travis and Razman and stuff like that just going so big where I'm like, I think Travis is like opening up intentionally on this back seven to use the force of his jacket to like guide him into this landing. Because eventually you turn into like a Batwing dude who's jumping off of like a fucking cliff, you know? It's insane.
Yeah, there's a size at one point, I think, that's like you know, like you're in the air too long and you're not heavy enough, or
totally.
You'd have to like start playing with weights, you know, on your board, like putting weights, or you're staying a bit more.
Yeah, you're using your jacket to glide through gravity. So Snowboard in Exile is like one of the first videos I think that played a big role like on your group of like your generation specifically. You mentioned so many riders that were like kind of involved in that project. Was there like a shot in one of those early videos that really like kind of changed or was burnt into your brain?
No, I think like Bored with the World with Craig Kelly, you know, like that one that that Jog did and the Adventure Scope did at the beginning. Like those, I remember that's one we watched that, and Critical Condition, or the one before, the Fall Line, the first one we watch in like in Quebec all the time.
Damn.
And it was like, you know, Bored with the World, like Craig had more like the tricks, cleaner freestyle, you know, like it was pretty sick. And then you had the other crew, you know, the Tall crew, Donner, like just like Damien, all those guys that just were going to look for the biggest thing.
But they didn't have like when you look at like old footage of like Damien, yeah, he's wearing fucking, you know, those plastic boots. It makes no sense because he's doing huge cliffs, but his stale fishes and his melons, they're sick. His stale fishes are arguably the best stale fishes that have ever been done.
Yeah.
Like he is tweaking, like he looks dope. Steve Graham, like those guys had dope fucking style. Like you're going huge, but like, you know, a lot of people are talking about Craig being more technical for sure, but like it's not like these guys are just launching off with fucking crazy arms the whole way down. Like fucking Damien's backflip that he does and Snowboarders in Exile is sick.
Yeah. And he did tweak with those boots. Those like they were pretty much ski boots. I don't know, he probably unclipped them because we used to unclip the front binding. Because people now, you know, when people call a Japan, like a lot of time I have our people like, no, I'm like, it's not a Japan. It's kind of a suitcase because you can't really do a proper Japan unless you lose your boots and you actually lose your front binding. Because a proper Japan, your knees got to be on the board. And one person that had a good one the early 90s was Dano. Dano had a good Japan, man. Like he did.
Damn.
Like, Dano had one of the best Japan around here. Like,
no way.
Dude, he put his knee was below his board. It was proper.
Damn.
And it was hard because I remember we used to cut the inside of our binding. like the base plate a little bit inside, and we had like that clip was like a ski boot clip, and then before I had jump, I used to unclip it, so it was super loose, so you could grab and actually put your knee on the board.
But rolling your front leg in the POW is like so scary to me. Like
Yeah.
doing a massive Japan and having a loose front foot.
Yeah,
Like that seems terrifying to me.
but you could like, if not, some people could do it. David Vincent probably had the best Japan. Very underrated snowboarder.
Great
Like,
graphics. The mushroom base guy.
Dude, and his riding, that dude was a powerhouse. To be honest, like if you want to watch a real Japan, he had the real Japan. Even late 90s, he could still like pop them properly with the knee on the board, like grab, because these days when people call it a Japan, it's grabbing mute in front of, and then the board in the back. And to me, it's not Japan. It should be a different name.
Has anybody ever spun with a proper Japan? Like,
now?
No, older. Like a rotation with the Japan with the leg folded in on the board.
I think maybe some back 180s. I'm not sure, like a lot. Maybe some cork, a little bit. I think maybe Cardiel.
Yeah.
Cardiel kind of did, like he brought a completely skateboard style to snowboarding. And that was sick. Riders on the Storm as part. That was like when that came out, you went up on Blackham or Whistler, and everybody was doing the laid backside 180 shifty. Like suddenly it was like you had to do it everywhere. But yeah, no.
Who had the best back 180 late shifty? Let's get another plug for that, because that trick was huge. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Like, well, Cardiel kind of did it, at first. Like he did some pretty.
What about the shifty then? Like, because that ollie shifty poke that everybody did in the early 90s? Like, was there somebody who had the best ollie?
I don't know, man.
Kearns was kind of like, I was like giving a shout outs to, why am I drawing blank right now? Mark Morissette. He has that ollie through the trees.
Maury had a good ollie. Yeah.
And Kearns was like, where do you think he got it from?
Kearns, he did. See, Kearns didn't have a lot of tricks. Like he wasn't a snowboarder with like doing crazy tricks, but he did have good style, and he had like he just normal like ollies and stuff. Maury had a good ollie. He had the total skateboarding style, but he was always a sick skater. Like in the 80s, I always remember going to skate contests, and Maury and Barry and those guys like were always the guys winning the street contest.
Sick.
Like launch ramp session and stuff. Like Maury was there was the West Island crew. Like more like they were more like West Island, Montreal, like the English crew, like Barry and yeah, it was a.
What about like a name that comes to mind that was involved at some capacity in Whistler and involved in like a lot of these videos that you were part of, who continues to skateboard at like the highest level, like Rick McCrank? Did you ever see him floating around? Because I mean, like he's just.
Oh, snowboarding?
No, skating.
Yeah. I
Like,
skated when he moved there. We lived at the skate park in Whistler, so we skated every day together.
Who's the best at skating the Whistler skate park?
Ooh, Rick was good. Chalmers could skate the shit out of that. Yeah, all the old skaters like and who was Hernan back in the days, early 90s.
What about a snowboarder skateboarder? Who is the hybrid? Because Chalmers and McCrank could snowboard, but like they were skaters.
Yeah. Like Rick, I think moved there. He wanted to be a pro snowboarder. I think like he moved there, from Ottawa. He wanted like
his part in that like S movie. He starts it with like snowboarding.
Yeah. He was
Blackham.
a sick snowboarder. But I think a lot of people told him, "Hey, you should move Vancouver because, you want to be a pro skater. Whistler's not the place to live, But he was but skater hybrid. Man, there was I don't know. Hernan, early 90s, Hernan Koss was like sick skater. Really sick skater and really sick snowboarder.
Because wasn't like Andy Hetzel a crazy skater and like
all those guys were like even Zabo, like in the 80s, all those guys were vert skaters. Good,
Yes.
good vert skaters, not street skaters.
Mm.
But like Zabo, you watch like old footage, or old picture of him, and those guys were legit like vert ramp skater in the 80s. And Edsel, Palmer, and those guys. Because there was a vert ramp in Tao for a long time. Terry Kidwell, all those guys. They
Oh,
had,
Slasnik was fucking probably. He was the sickest
yeah,
skater.
no, there we go. The sickest skater, pro snowboarder, it was Noah and Aaron Vincent. I'd say AV. Aaron Vincent was the best.
Sick.
Proper. Yeah, that dude could make twists, ramp, and he was Noah. Him and Noah hang out together all the time. He was the best snowboarder skate, because I think he had a pro model with Sims too, Aaron Vincent.
So, okay, this is the boom of snowboarding. And you and your brother at one point, you and Martin are back in Quebec. It's like 1990. You guys moved to Whistler. You clearly know a fuck ton about snowboarding and skateboarding and these action sports at this time. What was it like to see your brother go from being like a snowboard nerd like everybody else to going up with Eric Berger and getting a 2-page spread in Transworld and getting on Kemper and being on these and just kind of blowing up? It seems like relatively fast.
Yeah. The first he came here because our friend Pat Van lived the year before. He was here 90, 91. My brother came on a 2-week vacation, and then he's like, I'm moving there the next year, and I was like, oh. And then I was like, okay. I was 17 years old that year when he moved here in the fall. So I was like, I'm gonna go visit you. That was the 91, 92 winter. Yeah, I'm like, I'm coming. I got a train ticket. $99 return from Montreal. But dude,
$45 each way.
yeah. But I had no idea, dude. It took 4 days with no cabin, sitting in a seat for 4 days, no shower, no nothing. It was pretty gnarly. I thought it would be cool, but it was like, I was like, this is like.
Did you meet anybody on the train?
A little bit, yeah. There's like the little bit party on the train, but yeah, it was pretty long. And I remember I got here and I got Vancouver out of the train. I was like, this is great. There was flowers, blue, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, hoodies. I'm like, it's like 10 degrees. Like, there's snow here? And then I got on the bus, and as we drove past Squamish and then get into Whistler, it dumped like 4 feet. Getting to Whistler, it's like Bluebird, it dumped 4 feet. Everything's buried. I was like, holy shit, man. And yeah, it was pretty sick. I was there just for a month, but then my brother's roommate blew his knee. Like a week that I was here. So he's like, I gotta go back to Quebec. He's like, you want the room? I was like, and I was on EI because I work a shitty construction plumbing job. Before I came, I was drilling all the holes in the high rise in Montreal to put the plumbing. So you're like 50-story up, like at like minus 40 with the wind, with like no walls, like with the hose and drilling those huge, like coring.
Nice. Dude, I love this shit.
But it was like for me, and then like walking down, I was like, it's training to go to Whistler. I was like, but then I was on EI, and then I was like, perfect, I'll take your room. And it was right across the village at Sunrise Resident. Number 1, like we live like right across the street. First year I'm here, across the street. And then I'm like, okay, I'm staying here, so I needed a pass. So one of our friends, Stu, that worked on the mountain, like I think he was a snowboard instructor. And then Blackham was like, oh, we want to do a public pipe. It was the first public pipe they ever did. Right by the chair at the top there. And yeah, he's like, we need volunteers, so you get a pass. So yeah, we used to hand dig that thing.
Okay, let's get some of the standouts. You mentioned Dano with the Japan. You hand dig this half pipe.
Oh man,
Like, who are some of the people that were riding around during that time that were like kind of ripping the pipe in the early 90s here in Whistler?
Johnson, Kearns, Dano. He started taking photo. I think by then he was taking photo, but he was still riding strong. Like Rich, skater, really good skater and snowboarder. that was insane. Rich Carlson.
Oh,
He
shout out
was-
to Rich. I worked with
Yeah,
Rich for years.
Yeah. Like he was insane. Snowboarding, probably best. He was the best snowboarder.
No way.
I think so.
Because
yeah.
he's a gnarly sledder too.
Yeah, but I think he was the best snowboarder. But I think he didn't like that the whole like you gotta go filming, you gotta go do companies telling you what to do. I think talent wise, he had the best style. He was kind of upper level than a lot of people. I think
Is there any
his style-
footage of that early 90s Rich Carlson?
I don't know. Somebody must have. Like I think he went filming a bit. You'd have to ask him.
This is so sick because I worked with Rich for years painting. With
yeah.
Dave, Double D, Dave Dowling,
yeah.
who was also a sick snowboarder around that same time.
Yeah.
And Rich had, like, you work with this guy and you start to hear, like, oh, Rich and Double D, like, used to shred. And you're like, what? Like, our bosses kind of used to shred?
Yeah.
Then you see old clippings and old photos of them, and then we started kind of learning as a group, like me, E-Man, Derek, everybody, Jeeves, everybody who worked with these people. You kind of like, it was so sick because they were so humble. Like, I'm just hearing now how sick, and you're telling me how sick Rich is. And I'm like, dude, he never once was like, I was kind of sick at snowboarding.
No.
Not at all. He never once spoke about his sledding, skating, or it would just be like, he's just this mysterious guy that you
Yes.
knew
Yeah.
like was just the fucking sickest. And then
Yeah.
you just said it for him, which makes it even sicker. Shout outs Rich
Yeah.
Carlson, dude.
Sick, like style and balls. Like he was crazy, but he had sick style. You know, there's not a lot of super tall dude that have like good style. You know, it's hard when they do, they have the best style because of the length.
Damn, that's such a good.
But no, Rich was like in the pipe, like Mikey Orr was sick snowboarder back then, like in the pipe. Sheen, good pipe rider, like then the Vancouver crew, like Kevin Sansalon. Devin didn't ride the pipe a lot at the beginning. They didn't come here a lot. I think Sansalon, some other people used to come more. And there was a lot of good pipe riders. And then it's got to be a bit after the old French crew came, like Tremblay and all those guys moved here. I think 93, 94 maybe. Those guys came a bit after. But the pipe, by then, there was the Dragon. The first year, dude, we used to dig that pipe. It was perfect. Then overnight, you came the next day, the thing was buried. So we had to redig it. Like, it was not proper.
Yeah, totally. I can imagine.
I've dug so many pipe. I didn't do it in the summer. I never liked the summer riding, ever. I did one time. I worked on the ride, did a camp, and that was the only summer I went. And that summer it was kind of raining all the time. But I was never into the summer riding. Like I used to go up once or twice. I think by the end of May, by riding almost every day of the winter, by the end of May, I was like, I want to skate. I just want to skate all summer. Like going up with your gear, it was such a mission. I used to hate it.
When was this shift from, like, I imagine, and I'm speaking on your behalf here, but like you probably, like everybody who moves to Whistler, had this dream of being the next biggest super pro or being a pro. First, was that inside of you at all? And when did this pick up the camera start for you?
Well, I think when I came here, like everybody, you want to be, because you mentioned too, when my bird had got that first spread, that was like, when we came here, he got a sponsor by, at the beginning, it was Mistral. Remember that company? They made windsurfing stuff. And then they made snowboard. And my brother got some board from them, the first 91, 92, and then the rep, that same guy, RV, he got camper. So he was like, oh, you want to ride camper board? So he got a bunch of camper board to ride. And then I was there that day on that photo shoot. I was hitting the same thing as him. So I have some pictures too and then I had to, West Beach needed some picture for stuff. So I was wearing all the new West Beach stuff.
That must have felt like a little bit of a flex back then.
It was pretty cool. And then we stayed that winter and then we went back to Quebec for the summer because my brother was was the intendant at the skate park, so his job was just to sit at the skate park all day.
It's like the pool boy,
Yeah,
but like at the skate park.
So he was like, "No, I want to go back because it was good money back then working for the municipality." So we went back for like, I think we went back at the end of May, beginning of June, and he worked there. And then at one point, the magazine came. You know, people like, "Oh, you got the spread in it," and he was like, "Holy shit!" Like it was pretty. It was the first kind of like Quebec person to get like a double page, you know. And then that year I came back in September. I was like, I'm going back. He was coming back more in the fall. I'm like, after 3 months in Quebec, I'm like, I'm going back. And I didn't come back here. I actually I went check out Banff. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna check it. I'm like, I'll go to Banff and for this winter, and I'll come back after. And I remember I got there in September. You know, the fall was beautiful. Like it's Banff. I'm like, oh, cool. And then I had a job at Sunshine. And then the first day, kind of orientation or whatever, in November, we had to go up. I went up and I look at the hill. I'm like, where's the ski hill? They're like, that's it. I was like, nah. I got home. I went back home, packed my shit, and I left. I'm like, there's no way. And then you had to drive everywhere to go, you know, Banff, you have to drive to Lake Louise. But when I saw what Sunshine Village was, I was like, no. After riding Whistler Blackcomb for a full winter, like insane, I was like, I'm out of here. But that's when my brother came back, and then he was sponsored. Like he drove back through the States and went to Kemper in California, and they properly put him on the team and start paying him.
Were you like ridiculously happy for him, or was there a little bit of like, why am I not?
No. Like
That's
I
sick.
always knew when you know, like I was a decent snowboarder, but I didn't have like the special thing, you know?
Did he?
Yeah, he did. I knew right away because he always went bigger. You know, he had more, like he was crazy, bigger, and crazy stomping skill, you know? Like, so, like, he had the drive, I never did. For contests, if it was any contest, if it was a jam format, I did good. But as soon a real contest, I would drop in and eat shit on the front side there. Like I could never do contests. I don't know why, but it never worked.
Here,
for me.
here, brother.
Yeah. But yeah, no, he did. He had like, and then he turned pro. Like really, back then you turned pro when you accepted money at a contest. So if you made money, you won money, you were pretty much a pro after that. So he did that at Baker at the bank slalom with he went down with Ross Rebagliati. And they used to do road trip together and at all the contests in Ross's little van. And he turned pro at Baker at the bank slalom. I don't know what he got, second or something, but he got, yeah. And then he accepted money. People like, oh, you're a pro now.
And then you're like, fuck it, I kind of don't like this contest shit anywhere, and I don't want to clock in. Like, I'm gonna grab a camera and start filming you because you're crushing it, or
Yeah, I bought a camera. I think my first camera I bought off Murray Seipel, one of the Canon.
damn sick.
Yeah, like in '94, maybe I'd say he sold one of his camera. I was like, oh, I always, you know, like people had cam. I'm like, I like camera, you know. And I bought that, but I didn't. I used it, but I don't think I never, like I still have a lot of footage from that camera. But I don't know if I might have sold a little bit of footage. I think maybe Murray might have used some in his early movie. But I rode for like Kemper. I got bored from them. I rode for them for a bit.
Sick.
They were like went alleying with them and stuff. Like
That's incredible.
They paid for some stuff. I didn't like, you know, make. And then after that, I rode for Town and Country, TNC Snowboard. It used to be a surf company. I don't know if you remember that, the Yin and Yang logo.
No.
Like a lot of people don't know about that. It was like the TNC Hawaii. It was like a big surfboard company from like the 80s. I don't know, maybe the 70s. But
Shit.
they made board. It was in Quebec, kind of the company. And then they made the clothing was from Hawaii. So I kind of like rolled for that. And then Quicksilver Japan, couple years. I went up and did the Ellie a bunch of time with Kai's dad.
Oh, sick. Kai Peterson.
Yeah.
What was he like? He's what, like Kai Peterson, if you don't know, one of he's a fucking legend, and his dad's like an uber legend, especially in the Whistler fucking community.
Trevor was, he was a sick dude. Like super, super sick dude. Stoked, pretty crazy doing lines. I thought I was gonna die one day. We go Ellieing, and then he's like, oh, and the conditions were so, but he's like, oh, I got this peak behind Mount Curry, a bit in the back. And he's like, oh, there's a bunch of line. He's like, I can grab one, you can grab one, but I'm on like a 157 freestyle board, you know? I'm like, oh, cool, we're gonna go ride some POW. So we get drop on this kind of knife edge on the corner. He's like, well, we gotta walk to drop in. And right there, I was a bit nervous. I'm like, oh, dude, where are we going? And I remember we get at the top and he's like, oh, you can grab this chute. I'll grab this one. And he puts a ski on and he's like, oh, okay, drop in. And all I can hear is eyes just down. And I'm like, oh, man. And I'm like, I can't go down that. And I'm like, I'm on a freestyle snowboard. It's like, I'm like, I'm going to die.
Wave to the heli, pick me back up.
No, I had to walk back down the ridge, probably like 200-300 feet on like gnarly, like knife with like exposed on each side until I got to the shoulder where there was actually snow to ride on. I remember getting at the bottom. I was like, dude, I can't ride this stuff. I'm like, I'm not on two skis. I'm like he was like, oh shit. Yeah, I totally forgot, man.
You're a snowboarder.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. It was pretty gnarly. He did a lot of, him and Eric Peota were like they pioneer a lot of the lines and like stuff in the backcountry here.
Okay. Who do you think opened the floodgates? Because what happens after you digging these half pipes and the boom of the, early 90s is eventually a lot of these people in the Sea to Sky community and Tahoe and a handful of other places get introduced to this snowmobile. But who kind of like opened the floodgates to that all being like a possibility?
To the backcountry? I think must have been like Sheen and Kearns and like Dave Craig and Rich and all those guys were kind of the first one to have that crew were the first one to really like all own snowmobile and go. Like I went up, I think 95 or 96. We didn't have sled, but my roommate was the mechanic at the Whistler Snowmobile at Rainbow. So we used to go and be able to have the first summit, those green anchors they had. Like I remember they got those and we used to go with them because he was the mechanic. So he had access to the sled. So we went up Rainbow, like took like 2-3 days to get to the top. But
take that in. I don't want to just look over that for anyone who's listening to that. Like 2-3 days to get in. Like
to punch in to where the jump, the step down is and stuff. Yeah.
Now you're up there in like 1 hour.
Yeah. If so, with the new slab rider, not even. There's like, you're not really getting stuck up there anymore.
No, from the lot to the top with your snowshoes on, 1 hour.
But I think those guys like like some of the old movies, I forgot which one, Adventure Scope, had a bunch of sled, like Skidoo gave them tons of sled. And they were all in Braylorn. They had a house there, and they film a lot about there, like Long Goat and those places. And that was the beginning of the sled access. Maury, Kevin Young, those guys they had the Yamahas, the old like VMAX triple. So it was the beginning of that. 97. That's when me and my brother bought Polaris in Calgary. Bought a trailer with a couple Polaris. But Sheen and that crew they were already riding for like a year with sled, Not everybody had to add money to go buy a sled. And there was not a lot of used one around. So, and they were still back then, they were $8-9 grand. And that was a lot of money back then.
So just being surrounded by so much talent here in Whistler over the course of, a handful of years, and enjoying riding POW at this point and sledding. Where does the gathering kind of start? Were you guys just like, were you as a filmer at that point just seeing so much talent where you're like, we should do something?
It started, so like I lived in Pemberton, and I was there, and then my brother, I think it was 97 maybe, he was like, buy a camera, like, because he wanted to film, but then there was not a lot of film company back then. So you had to, if you were not with one, you had no way to get exposure, And the French, there was so many good French-Canadian writer, and they were not in any movies because you had like Standard, Mack Dawg, like a couple of Kingpin, I think, starting, a couple like that. And if you were not in that crew, you were not in anything, Like Treetop filmed more of the local, but it was hard to get in. Your sponsor had to pay to be in the video. So if you didn't have sponsor that were willing to pay, nobody filmed you. They didn't care,
Politics still going on.
Yeah. So 97, my brother was like, save money, buy a camera. Like, so I saved like 10 grand. I think I bought the Canon XL1 digital because I want to buy a 16, but it was like, they were expensive. And then the film, like if nobody pays for the film and process and all that, it was impossible. It was way too much money. So I bought a Canon XL1, and then 97, 98, we had a motorhome. My brother bought the motorhome, and we moved in the motorhome with the trailer and the 2 sled in the back. 1 sled. And then we went road trip with Ryan O'Dowd, was taking picture. My brother's like, we're going on a trip and we're going to film. So we went all the way to like Banff and around Golden. We actually posted in Golden for a while. That's where we started sledding a lot.
Just the 3 of you?
Yeah.
Was it just like a shit show? Or
Annie came with us. Annie Boulanger came with us. She was part of the road trip. It was a shit show, dude. We pretty much posted up in Golden.
I'm just imagining like what it would look like if I could go back in time and be in that lot and watch you guys pull in with your trailer. Two French Canadians, a photographer, and Annie pop out and be like, all right, let's go get shots. But you don't even know how to start, really? Like,
no, she came with us, but then for contest, but then she went back. It was me, my brother, and O'Dowd that stay. And we used to go to Gorman Lake, the beginning, a bunch, and we only had 1 sled. So my brother would take me to Gorman Lake all the way in the bumps, long, and then would come back down and grab Ryan. So, oh yeah,
imagine somebody asking you to do that now.
Oh, dude, never. I'd be like, well, too bad for you. But no, we did like it, and then shooting all day, and then coming back, taking 1 person down, coming back up that trail. There was no grooming, really.
Imagine if you had an injury with that situation.
Dude, yeah, it was pretty bad. So we stayed there for a while. Like, that's why, and I filmed a bunch of stuff, and then film stuff around there, contests, and then I sold that winter. I actually sold a bunch of footage to Adventure Scope, I think, and some other people. And then the year after, we used to always go down to San Diego for the trade show, for like all the movie premieres and like party and like industry, and then stay there. We had a friend, Mission Beach and Huntington Beach. And even through the 90s, we used to go there and stay there.
That seems pretty intuitive for back then, knowing that if you just stay in Whistler and nobody knows who you guys are, you're only going to get so far. You're like, yo, if we go to this trade show, Martin, like we can actually show people that you're,
yeah. You had to. And then I think it was like 98, 99 maybe. The fall, my bro was like, we're in California. He's like, let's make a video. He was like, let's do it. He's like, find a name, find everything. He was like, you're the video guy. So he's like, so we right away, like,
you're like, I'm the video guy.
So like right away, like Santa Cruz, we started calling people, and we're down there in where all the industry is. So we went to see all the people we knew, like Santa Cruz too. They're like, oh, we're in. I think our budget was like, I think we had like 10 grand.
Total.
Yeah.
Like we're in for $500.
Yeah. I think we had 10 grand or something like that. And then we came back to Whistler. We started going to backcountry and filming. So we're like, okay, we got to go and start.
This is the
and
gathering one.
Yeah, the first gathering. So we go film December, January, a bit beginning, and then I'm like, okay, I got to make a teaser. So we made a teaser. I went to Adventure Scope, which Jacques helped us a lot with that. And I'm like, okay, all the footage, I'm like, this, that. So made a teaser, put a Metallica song on, and because we're going at the trade show in Vegas. So we piled up a bunch of us in the motorhome, and we had a Vans Triple Crown in Tahoe, and then we went a couple days in Huntington Beach. So in the motorhome was me, my brother Oshu, Alex Oshu, Mike Page, Dave Kenny, Jeff Belsha, and Gaetan.
Road trip of a lifetime.
All of us packing the motorhome, dude.
Who was the driver?
Like me, my brother. I think Shu might have drove a bit, JF. But dude, it was pretty sick. It was like 27-foot motorhome. Like,
You guys all slept in there?
yeah, dude, it was pretty sick. And then we went to Vegas, and then I made like, I don't know, like 30, 40 copies of the teaser. So in the trade show, I just like give them to everybody, and everyone used to have a TV with a VHS at the booth at the trade show.
Plug it in.
Yeah, so
Show
I
us
gave
your
it to everyone, all the companies, so everyone put it in. And at one point, it was playing everywhere, everyone was like, because I thought it was a pretty good, because the Forum Step Down, which is not the Forum Step Down.
What is it?
It's, Gaetan had that jump first. The year before. It's in Third Degree Burn, I think, Treetop. But there was only one camera, and it was filmed with a wide angle underneath the takeoff. So Gaetan is the first one to hit that jump.
Because I always heard that, I get up, years ago into the backcountry, make it up the S chute, woo, and like, oh, there's the Forum Step Down.
Yeah.
Forum Step Down. The longer I spent there into the backcountry, at one point, I forget who. It might have been Colin Adair or somebody, but somebody told me it's the Gathering Step Down.
Yeah.
But is it actually the Treetop Step Down, or is it just the Gaetan Step Down?
The Gaetan, he hit it first, but it was, I think, just because it was only filmed from one angle so you couldn't really see the thing, They hit it, and I forgot what he did on it. I think it's in Third Degree Burn. But then when we went up the year after, December and January, like the Gathering crew destroyed it before the Forum crew. Then I think it was Sylvain Beauchamp, like him and Page brought Kearns and the Forum guys on it after it got pretty much demolished by
Well, Peter switchback 3s it, switchback 5s it,
Yeah.
switchback 7s it in the Resistance, and you're like, holy fuck.
Yeah. And love the guys like Gaetan. My brother back 180 Melon did.
It's a sick shot.
Yeah. That, like super in the inside too, where it's super steep.
Somebody back 5 knows that really good back then.
Boach, I think back knows.
There's a bunch of and they're good, great clips. You know what I mean? You're like, dude, these are sick. Like,
but I remember I was the first one to shoot it from across. Because I remember we're looking at it, and Gaetan's like, oh, he was underneath with the wide. And I was like, looking, I'm like, oh, yeah. I'm like, because we had a couple digital camera with us. So we kind of look, I'm like, I wonder what it look. I'm like, it's got to look, because when you roll up to it, like you see it, I'm like, that thing, I'm like, it looks sick. So I remember going across the classic angle on that little lip kind of thing. And I remember going down looking, and I'm like, dude, that thing looks massive from here, It is a big jump, but from here it looks even bigger.
do you remember what shots you got on that session?
No, it's in the Gathering teaser and in
Sick.
the Gathering.
Because the Gathering intro, that first movie, did you make that intro? It's so good.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the triple, it's just metal and carnage. Like the
Of course
triple
it's metal,
backflip to
yeah.
the fucking head
Yeah.
is like, dude, that's a really good intro.
That was like, see, and then that winter, yeah, we did the teaser, and that's when I started working for Mackdawg. Because when I did the teaser, after something happened, they lost the filmer, and JF was filming for them because JF filmed in Technical. That was his first year filming with Mackdawg, and he's like, oh, they need a filmer, so. And then I gave the teaser. He sent it to Mike, and Mike look at it. He's like, "Well, he knows how to film, like from the tease." Like, so then Kearns brought a 16 mil camera to the house, and Kearns style, he's like, "I'm not gonna help you," but he's like, "Here's opened it, show him how to load it." He's like, "That's it. That's how you do it. That's your practice roll." He's like, "There you go. Don't fuck up," or something like that, and just laugh. And I was like, "All right," because then it's not like digital where you press record, it's recording. So yeah, that winter I started filming. Then I went up. JF had 2 sleds. He bought a new one. It still had his old one. So I used his old one. He rented it to like they gave him money for it a bit. And then I went up, film with him and DCP, film a bit too, and Amp. And then Joey McGuire used to come. I think Jamie came to one time here. But yeah, Joey McGuire used to come a lot, JF and DCP and a couple other guys that winter. And then I filmed Mike Page, and then I filmed like Resistance stuff too. So some days, we went.
Because they were filming in 2000, they were filming 2 videos. In 2001, they were filming 2 videos.
Yeah, Amp and Resistance. So I had like a lot of footage in Amp, a little bit like, and then I had some in both movies.
What did that do for your whole life, like your confidence and who you were, like getting the nod from Mackdawg at that point? Like Mackdawg is like
sick.
one of the most established filmers in snowboarding, and you're like, I'm filming for Mackdawg. Like,
No, it was pretty insane. I was like, all right, I'm like this, I'm like, it's, in life you can work your way up, but it always helps. There's always somebody that helps you. Those kind of business of friends, like, hey, that rider's sick, or that, like give him a chance. So JF like hooked me up 100%, with that.
were you a little bit of a shit show Wild Wild West, or do you think when you got that first opportunity to film for Mackdawg, you were like ready to do that, or did you mature as a filmmaker through that year because you didn't want to fuck it up?
No, I think I was confident, I knew how to like make stuff. I knew how to film and make stuff look good, like I had a way of seeing stuff to like, okay, this jump. And we went back, and there was stuff I saw that filmed before, and I was like, it kind of looked, I'm like, there's ways of making stuff look bigger,
Yeah.
And as a filmer, you always want to do that, when you're one camera. If you're 3 cameras, that's when you can
Get experimental.
Yeah, you get the solid guy that gets to make it look big, and then you get all the crazy backlit popping, like to be different. But yeah, it was pretty. So I kind of filmed all the way to the spring with Mackdawg, and then my brother got a different guy. They used my camera, like they grabbed my Canon, and like they got another filmer, a bunch of people. My brother filmed. Like,
Was your brother like, yo, you're bailing on The Gathering? What the fuck?
not really. He was like, dude, he's like, take the opportunity.
So you guys were just like really supportive towards each other. It seems like.
Yeah. He's like, no, you can't. He's like, that's your ticket of making money. You know what I mean? Not with The Gathering, we had no money really.
So like, has that support between you two always been there?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like you guys are like best homies through the whole thing. That's so
pretty
sick.
much. Yeah. And yeah, like The Gathering though, we had to edit it. We're like, oh shit, we got to edit this movie. So we had some money, and then Jacques Roisseau with Adventure Scope, he was the only one with like a computer, a proper studio and stuff. So it was at his house, I think in Emerald, Alpine. He had it, and we're like, okay, he's like, we had money for like 5 days. So Martin Gallant, the took over the gathering that started. We're like, okay, you're gonna be the editor, because he was more the nerdy guy. He was a really good snowboarder in that house, like in Emerald. Like everybody was a good shredder, but he was like kind of the nerdy guy. We're like, you're the computer guy because you're the so
You just delegated to him.
But he was good at it. He was like, okay. So we bought a computer for editing, a PC that we got built, but that thing just kept crashing. We're like, we can't take the chance. So we went at Jacques, and he came, showed us how it works. Like, okay, that's how you put the shots in. That's how you cut it. Boom. That's how you put the song. He's like, you guys do everything. And then at the end, I'll come and like
tighten it up.
So I had my CD book. That's why the soundtrack in that movie pretty much came out of my CD book.
Dude, that's a good soundtrack.
That's why there was like, that's why there's like, Maiden, Metallica. There's like some death metal in there. There's everything, like we didn't.
Dude, you hit the intro. If you have time, like check it out. That first gathering project is actually online. I watched it before this recording, and the intro, which I've seen before, but like, it's just perfect. It's just exactly what you want to see out of snowboarding. Like people in the fucking air, some partying, some lifestyles, and then people chucking and not landing.
Yeah. But I think I use a Motorhead song for the intro. I'm like, the intro's got to be impactful, like, because you look at all the Mackdawg intro and the Kingpin, and they were always like powerful. Like you got to open a video and be stoked right away, not like super weird and mellow, I know at one point it kind of changed, but I think in that era, it had to be like that, So we pretty much edited that video in like 4 or 5 days.
What did Mack Dawg think? Like, did he let you know that the footage that you handed in for the Resistance was like dope or amp or whatever your first time? Was he like, hey, like, or did he call you and give you like some feedback, or like, was there like, did you guys?
No, I think
just sent it away and that's it.
I think after the first time, he was like, he called me and he was stoked. He's like, I'm like, I was nervous.
16.
Yeah, 16, you send the stuff, you're like,
you don't even know what it looks
I'm
like.
It kind of looked cool through the eyepiece, It's like a lot of writers sometimes where they landed, they're like, how did it look? I'm like, I don't know. Like, like, that's what it looks like. How was my grab? I'm like, did you feel like you grabbed good? I'm like, if you want to do it again, do it again. There was no phone, no digi camera. Some people had them after a bit. Like Jeff always had one of those low one. Like the little Sony with a big wide angle on it. So we had that, like a lot of the Wildcats party stuff and gathering was like that little camera, man, went everywhere. It was full of tape. Like that was like the party camera. But yeah, it was hard because you couldn't. And I remember him phoning me and be like, oh yeah, everything looks sick. He's like, I'm super stoked. I was like, oh, like for sure you're nervous.
Who is one of the first riders that you got to film that you were just like a fan of, that you remember like, I'm filming this person, this is crazy? They're like, drop, and you're like, sick.
Yeah, I think maybe the year that year, like JP and Devin and Jeremy and all those guys,
You
like
filmed
the
all of
crew.
those guys. Damn.
Yeah.
Who is kind of like out of that group? Maybe like talk about a little bit of the like, I don't know, like who was the most consistent? Like who was the best? Like just a little bit of.
Well, consistent, Devin. That's pretty, you know what I mean? That's
You weren't burning a lot of tape on him.
No, he usually landed. His landing ratio was probably 99%.
99%?
I'd have to say. Because I think he didn't do stuff that he didn't believe he could land. A lot of people like, oh, I'm going to try it. Like going crazy, going too big, too that. I think when Devin did something, like he, I think in his head, he's more of a nerd that he looks like it, because his calculation for stuff was perfect. Like he's like, I'm going to land there and it's landable. And his landing ability, I think from not being a big guy, is easier. Because guys, and I remember Maury saying that one time too. Like, he's like, I'm big upper body, tall guy with like wide shoulder. And like when you land, like, whoa.
Yeah. It makes sense. Your inertia is going to just keep
you
ripping.
watch the big dudes, and when they land, they're a bit over. it's over. You know, it's hard to recover. But you watch guys that are little, like Devin, JF's landing ratio was amazing. And the most consistent landing ratio, I'd say, is Gaeta.
Damn.
Yeah. You knew you were going out filming with Shania, you come back with clips. 100%.
Who would like try stuff that was like super progressive, but like maybe just would eat a lot of shit? Because burning tape back then, was that like a faux pas? Like, was Mackdawg like, what the fuck, dude? Why are you burn?
No.
He's like, burn.
Fuck.
Get the shots.
Especially those years, dude. No, I remember burning crazy amount of film.
How many rolls potentially through a day? Because each roll has what, 2 minutes on it?
I think it's 1 minute.
1 minute.
At real time. So it's 100 feet. And you're burning, we used to like, you're burning 10 feet in, 10 feet out of like kind of lifestyle or scenic. Because we didn't load like in the full. Some people that pay for their stuff load their camera in total darkness and then start at it from the beginning. But we used to load like nothing, no cover. You just open it, and because the rolls are covered, so they're not open.
So it's just the first 10 feet that's going to get exposed to some light.
Yeah, and then the last 10 feet. So at the end, you try to, when there was 10 feet left and it was something sick, you were like, especially if you shot at 32 frame, then it was like, yeah, maybe let me burn that and like I'll change roll, If it was something sick, you want to put a fresh roll. You didn't want to be at the end of it.
You didn't want to do that Anthony Vitale, JP double cork situation.
Yeah, he was not. I remember him telling me, I didn't work for them that winter. I was doing video gang. But yeah, he was like, oh my God. He's like, I thought I fucked it up.
Yeah.
Twanner style, just like.
Yeah, so stressed.
Yeah, and the new trick, too, he's like, I could see Kearns just like, But yeah, you just pretty much like, to, like reload. But there was no don't burn roll. Like Mike was like, just shoot. Like, doesn't matter if they don't land. Like, you know what I mean? But there was riders like, I remember BJ was the crazy. BJ Lyons. He tried crazy shit. Crazy line, crazy jump, crazy trick, He didn't land them all the time, but when he did, all his makes were gnarly. Like super gnarly. Because there was a lot of riders that were like, I can do this 100%. I got it. He was like, no, I'm going to go bigger than you. I'm going to try this from there to there to do like something crazy. And, it might work, it might not work. Like he was definitely like pretty nuts. And Malmy was a hard worker. Like his video part, people like, he hit the jump like 20 times to get something, He wasn't like the most like landing right away, but dude, he never stopped. A lot of people gave up and he just like kept going, dude. The Mackdawg.
Because it's different when you're riding in the streets. Like you can hit the rail forever until the light goes out and hit it again tomorrow. Like in the backcountry, once you get a little bit older, maybe blow your knee, maybe knee yourself in the face, maybe see somebody else land in one of those fucking bomb holes. Eventually, your tolerance, the longer you're in the mountains, gets smaller and smaller to not be landing in a fresh landing. So like what starts as your first couple of years, you're like, I'll hit this 20 times into those fucking holes to land this cab 9.
Yeah.
5 years out, 10 years out, you're starting to be like, oh, there's 3 tracks in there. It looks pretty tracked. I'm good.
Well, that's the thing. Like some rider, like once there was too many bommel, they used to kind of side slip the landing, go fill in the hole and then try it again.
Damn.
Peter was pretty consistent. When Peter was on, when he wanted to go sledding.
Because he doesn't like sledding?
Dude, he hated it. He hated sledding. But when Peter was out there and he was on, like you knew you were coming back with clips. But again, small guy is landing like, you look at Pete and you're like, he doesn't look like a powerhouse at all, Like he's just scrawny little guy. Hey! But his landing ratio is insane. Like he rode with power. For somebody that doesn't look powerful, he rode with like crazy power.
I mean, his video parts for like the Meltdown Project onwards or whatever, it's just like he kind of like was one of the first, I don't want to say the first, but like he really started hitting like big shit. Like some of his cab fives and stuff like that, and like that he ended those projects with, you're like, dude's going big now. Like they were like legit, like the classic, like, you know, more Devon-esque, you know, part shots where it's like the cab five is you take off and you half cab and you have to fucking spin that slow because you're gonna be fucking like impressive to see somebody who is so, it brought so much to the table with his creativity and just inventing kind of new tricks, but also was progressing on like the size of everything too, which is pretty impressive to have like pushed from like every level, hence why he's one of the greats. But
yeah, it was sick style too, so smooth, like not a lot of flapping. Like Pete was pretty insane to film when he wanted to go filming.
Well, because sometimes he didn't want to. That's so sick.
And his sled, Paige was using his sled, and his sled caught on fire and burned. And
I burnt Peter Line's sled down. Shit.
Pete could have been more stoked. And I'm like, dude, you got to buy a new sled. He's like, nope. He's like, I'm not buying another sled. He was, I think he was happy his sled burned. He's like, I don't have to sled anymore. He flew in, we built some jump one day, me and Johnson, for a video gang. And that was the only way to get him out that winter in the backcountry. So we went and built a jump in advance, and he flew in the backcountry.
I know in video gangs, because Guillaume Brochu, I believe, is that how do you pronounce his name?
Yeah.
He DM'd me and he was like, I was there when Peter did that method in video gangs, and I built that hip with Martin.
Yeah. We built, that's that method there.
Is that the same one that your brother has, like that sick back three, like that alley-oop back 180 back three melon?
Yeah.
And it's like, and then it says on the right-hand side, Martin Gallant, and it's like the sickest ever.
Yeah,
that is the same one, eh?
The thing, that quarter pipe, is a lot of people built it wrong. So you couldn't build it like a quarter pipe. Like people that went and built it too straight, it never worked. Like, because the thing is so big. So if you go 5 feet out of it, it looks like shit. So it's got to be built. And my brother knew how to build that thing right. Like he built it a bunch of time. I did too. And yeah, that session, it was like kind of a gathering collective session. And then I think Pete, maybe Malmy was with us. But yeah, Pete came on that. And that we built it properly. So you had to build it. You have to build that thing more like a jump into it, you know? And then the landing, yeah, it's pretty sick.
Was that your shot with the fish or the method?
Yeah, from the deck, from further down, not with the fish. Though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one's so standout. I mean,
yeah, that winter, that video gang winter was pretty crazy. That's after Mack Dawg, though.
Because video gangs was a separate thing, because that's on to, did Kearns run that one?
No, that like Mack Dawg, I did, like like the first one, Amp Resistance, True Life, Stand Deliver, which Stand Deliver, I shot a lot of that video. Like that's when JF and Gaetan's part, and that was...
Because Gaetan ends that movie.
Yeah, Gaetan took he upped the level. It was a bit like Devon, like Gaetan stomping ability of doing tricks off stuff that winter was ridiculous. Like pretty much everything, like just boom, boom, boom. Like, his legs didn't move. It was like two stick, just like power out of it, you know? But JF had a really good part too. That it was an insane winter. The Stand Deliver winter was insane. That's when like the perfect jump got like destroyed. Gaetan back 7 that thing to like flat on a 153.
Is that one Kale
board.
And Browner hit that one too? I think Kale did the front sub tail on it.
Yeah. I think that session Anthony filmed that with Kale and Browner. But I felt that winter was pretty much, it snowed a couple feet. It was sunny for 3 days. Snowed a couple feet. It was sunny for 3 days. The whole winter. By February, I remember.
No wind.
Yeah, I remember Mike saying by February, he's like, we could make a video. Like the winter could be over and we'd have too much footage for a video. It was people had that much footage at winter for True Life and Stand Deliver.
What two special videos to be a part of? I mean, one clip that I just want to put an emphasis on that always has stood out to me in Stand and Deliver. I'm not sure if you shot this, but Chris Brown has a switchback 7 in that video. I think it's its ender, but like it's one of my favorite jump shots. It's like the sickest.
Was it on the step down?
It's
the
a step
top
down.
Of the chute?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Maybe it's either me or Anthony.
Yeah, it's such a sick shot.
Because
But
Anthony came in and Stand Deliver kind of like in the middle of the winter, I think a little bit maybe of that year. And yeah.
I just kind of want to put a little bit of an emphasis that like the people who have listened to this far in the show, like just to if you and your brother didn't watch, those videos, Creatures of Habit, Critical Conditions, all those videos, and find this space, like the ripple effect that you and your brother had in snowboarding is insane. We're sitting here with 2 VHS copies in the wrapper plastic of The Resistance and True Life. Thank you for those. But
No
2 videos that like shaped the next generation of snowboarders, and still to this day I hear kids going back and watching True Life and it being like one of their favorite videos. Like the impact of The Resistance was great, but I think True Life is in the top 5 greatest snowboard videos of all time. Top 3, I bet you, on its impact. And I don't know, how special does it feel to be a part of like one of the most like monumental times in snowboarding? Does it feel as special as it is to me?
Yeah, I think it is because I think everything was new. The jumps were new. Like we got inside, like, oh, that person, like cab 5, that drop or that thing, it was finding a lot of those winter. It was like all the jumps that you go to, you see, were like new. So we went around and found, because you didn't go as deep right away as easy, Like you went to Gallant and you went the old way through the woods, like there was a lot of time, like the Hollywood Cliff, like that winter, True Life and Stand Deliver winter, that place really everything got built almost, but the Hollywood, I remember going there one time. It was bad weather and we knew like it was kind of a surprise it's going to be sunny. And like me, Jeff and Gaetan were like, and Jeff was like, there's going to be, he's like, because those guys want to edit. We filmed it one day, but the conditions were not super good. They didn't get the trick they wanted. It got cloudy. So I remember we left at like 3 in the morning, 3:30 in the morning, because we knew even like Kearns, the form crew was going. And Jeff was like, fuck this, we're going before that. It was the same company, but we're going first, And we knew my brother, there was probably 4 or 5 crews that standard guys that want to go at the Hollywood right away. It's snow, it was going to be sunny. And we left, 3 in the morning, 4, out of the parking lot in the dark, put the trail in the woods at the end of the lake with the old sleds for like, I don't know, an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours in the pitch black. And then God just waited. You started to see a bit. As soon as we saw like we could see the cliff. We got the top, built like 3-4 takeoffs, ready to go, and sat there with our sled. And then like as soon as the sun started coming up, you could hear the sled through the woods, like, wah, and the crew's rolling in, and we're like, my camera was already set. I was sitting, I think Gaetan and Jeff were sitting on their sled on top, and I was sitting by my camera. And I remember Kearns rolling by with the foreign crew. He was like, oh, you fucker. It's like, you fucking French. He's like, I'm stoked, you guys. It was the same company. So he's like, I'm stoked. You guys got it. He's like, we're going to head down. I think they went to Perfect Jump or something.
Because Kearns, I had him on the podcast, and I know from just talking to people, there's a certain aura around him based on, his history within snowboarding. Was your relationship with him like super chill, or did you find him to be this like intense, like, kind of dick hard loving kind of snowboard
Yeah, but
guy.
that's him. I knew him from like the 90s, first winter I live here, like that's just who he is.
I
So
love
it's
it
like,
personally.
so like you get it. Some people were all like super intimidated. Like you can be like that or take it like that's just who he is, like just straight up and like. But I think a lot of people didn't, some people were intimidated or whatever. Oh no, those guys are going there. But a lot of people didn't care,
Was that
like
the
the old French crew, the Gary and them didn't care. Like there's not one person there like, oh, he's gonna come kick. Yeah. There's no way. There were nobody was,
What was for you and Kearns? Was there like a certain expectation? Because I heard Kearns speak on this, just with like, you're filming for Mackdawg. It's the best video. There's certain aspects of what you are expected to accomplish out there. Was it pretty intense filming for those films? Like, did you ever get a phone call like, we're short? Like, I know you said that there's a couple years like that you were killing it and getting a bunch of shots, but you filmed for a bunch of other videos. Sometimes you get in a little bit of a rut or something like that. Was it ever a little bit intense based on like, yo, I don't think that you guys are stacking the clips you need to be pushing, like, because Mackdawg was the biggest and the best thing in snowboarding as far as progression and stuff. Did it ever feel like kind of fucking like heavy to be filming for those movies and be coming up a little short when, you inevitably get in those little bit of like dry spells?
Yeah, but at one point you can't. I think Mack Dawg, like he was like, oh, don't sweat it. It's not
Sick.
There's no snow. And I think back then the filmer didn't have to push the rider as much as I find kind of now. And we'll get to that maybe after. Like,
Let's get into it now. We're here.
because of social media,
Yeah.
the B footage is more important than the A footage, almost. Like back then, like JF and Gaetan were like driven. Like that's, what I mean? That was like Gaetan, that was his chance. I think he filmed for technical. He went out filming a bit, but something happened. They didn't want him to film anymore. I don't know I kind of know what happened, but we don't need to talk about it. But, and then for Amp, he wasn't in the movie. They're like, oh, we're not filming you, So he filmed for The Gathering that whole winter. And Gaetan's part in The Gathering is ridiculous, except for the song. That's the only song in the entire Gathering movie that sucks because we let him choose it. And then at the end, I should have not put it in. It's like the shittiest, most mellow hip hop song that does not work. There's not a lot of hip hop that works with snowboarding editing. That's why you don't see it a lot, But yeah, the year after he got, and we're like, dude, you got to put him in, Like, so he came in for Stand Deliver. And I think him and Gaetan Jeff and Gaetan were on a mission. They were like, I didn't have to find, we all found jumps for each other, But it's like the rainbow step down. Like at first we filmed one before, but in like 96, me and my brother and I think who came with us? I think it was Jason Beaton or it was for Creatures of Habit. Like one of John Freeman's filmer was there for those movie. And we went up, we borrowed the sled from Whistler Snowmobile. Like my buddy Bill and Dan, they got us up there. And the rainbow step down, it was full of trees at the top. Like pretty much like pack of trees. And me and my brother built it between two trees. It was probably 4 feet wide. So we made a kicker between the trees. And I remember I hit it, went to flat on my back. And then my brother did a straight air or something. It was cloudy. We couldn't see. And then it kind of stayed there. But then the Gathering winter, we went back there and filmed a jump beside it, kind of between some trees. And then that's how that jump kind of came into that year. We built it properly with Jeff and Gaetan. I think we're the first one to edit.
Yeah, because every year from like 1991 to 1999, maybe even 2004. We'll put the video form that in there. Devin's, the peak of Devin's career, starting in, 1990 with Damian Sanders. The progression every year by a select group took the backcountry. And then there's people like Roman DeMarchi and stuff like that really elevated it. But it grew so fast in talent and progression and like what was possible. I mean, now in the last 10, 15 years, you kind of know what you're going to get, obviously every once in a while, there's someone does something kind of freakish where you're actually like fully blown away. But for the most part, as a filmer, the progression to watch firsthand, even from the Resistance to True Life, like must have been so fucking insane to just witness. You said 1996, you're out there with your brother building the step down. 5 years later in True Life, like people are doing switchback sevens off of like 60-foot like step downs.
We cut a bunch of trees from there. Oh, we went back and cut. Yeah.
Don't cut anything in the back.
No, they the trees fell, but where the jump is right now used to be kind of a patch of trees there. But at first we built it between the trees. Me and my brother, we saw that, we're like, whoa, look at that step down, like, and there was an in run, but you went like it was pretty much the first time anyone hit that thing, but it wasn't properly. Like,
did you ever get like a moment where like you were just like hanging out with your brother and you're filming for Mackdawg and you're fucking doing it, you know what I mean? And you look at him and he's a pro and he's doing it, and you're like, dude, we're doing it.
Oh, yeah, it was like living the well, that's the thing with filming back then, you were getting paid year round. So like a snowboarder.
How much was if you don't mind me asking?
What I don't know. It wasn't for back then, it was a lot. It was like kind of what some of the snowboarders were making.
Damn.
But yeah, it pretty much kept you on a retainer year round. So all summer's like, oh, have a good summer. I'll see you at the trade show in San Diego. And you had a check in U.S. money in the mail every month. So I was living the dream, living the pro snowboard, and just like going at the lake every day. Didn't have to work anymore. Didn't have to do shitty job. It was pretty sick. But I kind of knew deep down, like, that cannot last forever.
That's the worst. Yeah. Whenever something is too good, you got to be like, this ain't going to last forever. Even like that, like that's like a good metaphor for everything. Like I look at myself right now, I destroyed my knee. I don't get to snowboard this upcoming year. And just, I think when you're younger, you just feel like those good times are guaranteed to just keep rolling.
Yeah.
And then there's that old guy at the bonfire that's like, take this in, man, one day. And you're like, shut the fuck, dude. The good times are going to roll forever. And now finally I'm like, dude, that old guy by the fire was right, dude. Like those times are so fucking special when you're just in it and living. And there's something so special about that, like 15 to 25 years of age where like you're absorbing new things and you feel like you're unstoppable and you can eat whatever you want. You do whatever you want. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're like the future. Who gives a fuck about the future?
You're like, I'm going to have a six pack forever.
Yeah,
you know?
Totally.
But like, you'll see when you get older. I'm like, no, it's going to be there. Then at one point you're like, yeah. But not all the companies paid their filmer. Like Mike was really good. He paid you like, oh, I'm paying you through the summer. I was like, oh, like, you know, and a lot of other company, like people that work for, I'm not saying any name, but like other company didn't pay their filmer in the summer. You know, people like, oh, you're getting paid through the summer.
I want to work for Mackdawg.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, you guys don't. And they were like, no. I was like, oh, but then, yeah, I did. And then we did Pulse. That winter was harder. It was a shittier winter, and there was no forum video. Forum didn't have the money to do, you know, because it cost them a lot of money to do those video. So that winter, the forum team and the regular, all the other riders that were in stand-up were all in one movie in Pulse.
So it was kind of a bloodbath to get in that movie then.
Yeah, it was. They kept the solid crew, the solid guys from Stand Deliver and the entire forum team in it, you know. And it was a harder winter. It was like shitty, like snow wise, I think. And yeah, it was, and the whole movie, the editing, they try something new. Like a lot of the writers were not super stoked on that video.
Yeah, I don't
Like-
remember it being one of my favorites.
No, it was hard. But then we did the Nixon Jib Fest in the spring. I think maybe in May or something at Summit. It was close to like you flew to Fresno. That town's crazy. You ever been there?
No.
It's like it's desert redneck.
Nice.
And there's the little mountain range. I remember me and Anthony flying there, and then you just go this place. It was called Summit, not Snow Summit, just Sierra Summit, or I don't know. I forgot the name, but it was just a tiny hill, and that whole setup down there, like Nixon pretty much paid for everything, and that entire movie sold a lot of copy. That was filmed in one day.
Wow.
So it was pretty much just invited writers. And there was a camera station where Dogger's wife was in there and she was just reloading camera. So you just went down when you did follow cam or ran back, grab another camera that was loaded. So we just, once the jam started, and it was like a jam that somebody won. There was a winner, but it's all the writers that said, oh, JP won. Or
Was it which Nixon year was it? Was
the
it
first year?
Okay.
The one you have there.
Okay.
Like, yeah, the one with the round rail.
Yeah.
With Brian T.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like Jeff Anderson was there with the C rail.
I don't think Jeff was there. It's behind you. You can see the name on it. I don't think Engelsman was there.
JP,
Yeah.
Jeremy, Dave Downing, Kevin Jones,
Yeah.
Brian Thien, UC Oxen, and Nate Bozung, J2, Todd Richards, Mikey LeBlanc, Scotty Whitlake, Bobby Meeks, James Leaford, Chad Otterstrom, Seth Hewitt, Mitch Nelson, Chris Engelsman, Jeff Anderson,
Yeah. he
Mikael
was there.
McGinty, and Eddie Wall.
Yeah.
Do you have a standout clip from that? Like, was there something that you filmed, or because
Pretty
that was like,
sick. I filmed a bunch like that. See the round rail.
yeah,
That one I have. There's a picture. There was a Brian in the Trans World, and you see me standing on the outside with the camera.
were you hyped when that one came
Yeah,
out?
I got a bunch of cameos, some follow cam too before, but yeah, there was some cool stuff there, and it was like I think I forgot who was me, Anthony, Kearns, Mike, Ross, Steffi, and I think that was it for filmer. But yeah, it was just like boom, 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 doing like follow cam, and the person that stood out the most for me, that was the most, because it was a course top to bottom. It was like the dream of jibbers, dude. Like you went at the top and it was a full run. Like you had left to right with a bunch of stuff. And probably the most consistent rider on rail that people never realize, because, a lot of people always say his style wasn't the best because he was super tall and pants, they didn't make pants big enough for Chris Engelsman. Like he was really tall, but his skill, like jumping, and like people didn't realize how good on rails he was. Like on that day, he was probably the sickest rider, I think, personally. Like consistent. He could do runs from top to bottom without eating shit and doing like gnarly shit on every hit. So it was to me, that was a standout. There was a lot, like all the best jibbers were there. So it was pretty sick, but it was like left and right. You were filming, like there was a session on one thing, boom, and then people were moving the other one. Then you were going with one guy hitting something,
I feel like the one thing that Mackdawg and a lot of good videos have in common is that it seems like everybody that's filming for that movie, especially the best ones like True Life, it seems like there's like a collective, everybody's on the same frequency to make the best video.
Yeah, I think it was a mission back then to like everyone want to like
Everyone.
but when somebody found something, everyone helped to build it. They're like,
They're all in.
that's his thing, and if that person destroyed it, like we're not gonna film it. You're not gonna go back with another rider that same winter for the video. If they, you know what I mean?
100%.
It was their thing. They found, they got a good trick. You don't go try to up your friend on it, kind of thing, It was like we did that movie, like filmed that in one day. They killed it on that. They sold like a shitload and it didn't cost.
I mean, that video,
Nixon
the
paid
first
for
time
it.
I watched that video, I was like, because it's every kid is riding in the park that's watching these videos like True Life, Resistance, you know, all the videos that we're talking about right now. And they dream of riding a park that good. And then they
Yeah.
dream of seeing all their favorite pros, which it was limited to see what your favorite pros were doing and stuff. So there was a bit of personality behind this movie. And then you saw all your favorite pros riding a dream park that you couldn't even fathom. Like none of those things were in a park really then. You know what I mean? It
No,
seems
no,
it was all like, it was groundbreaking to have
Yeah.
a box that steps up and you do a nose
Yeah.
press hop to back tail. And you're like, what? Like, we don't have
Yeah.
this at our park. Everyone's park back then was just a tall battleship that was scary to ride.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was pretty like, and that's a year like, and after that I didn't work for them anymore.
Was there a falling out or something? Or?
No, I don't know. They did one movie after that, like Forum didn't want, there was something happening with Forum and them, like, because it costs, you know what I mean? Like Mackdawg charged certain amount for Forum to do the video. And I think Forum was like, well, we paid for those two first video and you guys sold that many physical copy like they used to sell. And those were like $40, dude.
Yeah, I
in
could
the
probably
early
sell like 1 million
2000.
of those.
No, I think they sold close to
200,000?
No, like 70,000, 80,000.
Oh, sorry. I
copies,
think they
maybe.
made a couple million though. That's what I meant to
Yeah,
say.
like it sold a lot of copies. But I think that year of Video Gang, I think Forum was like, wait a minute, like
We could make that money.
we're paying for all of that. We want, and something happened in there, and they kind of like split up. You know, like Forum's like, fuck this, we're making it, and then there was kind of a fallout thing, and then I think Mackdawg got maybe less budget or something. I don't know, like you know,
Some drama.
and they were like, oh yeah, you're not. I was a bit choked. Something it was weird the way it happened. But then I was like, oh fuck it. I'll find something else. And then right there it was like, oh yeah, Forum wants you to film with them, you know? So they were like, no, we want Pascal to film with us. So I was like, oh yeah. So that was even better with them. When they were like, you know, they're like, oh, we can only pay you that. And I was like, oh, really?
Was that for which video is this for?
Video Gang.
Video Gangs. That video was a big
They
one for
actually
me.
had the budget was pretty big. So like when they told me, I was like, that's even like 2-3 times what I made before, you know? So I was like, I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, whatever you guys need.
Yeah. There was a bit of rivalry because some of the Forum guys didn't want to film for Video Gang. So like JP and Jeremy did not film for that video.
They were in Shakedown that year.
Yeah, and they were saying, because Forum was pressuring them, they were like, you guys need clip for the video, and they want to do, I remember JP want to do one thing for it. That's it. That never happened, you know. But the other guys were like, oh no, they're like, fuck, you know, we got to do the team video. And yeah, the Video Gang was pretty rad. With Johnson, they took Johnson to be the director. And so it was me, Johnson, and Nathan Yant,
Damn.
that film.
What do you remember being like the most progressive park shit other than the Nixon Jib Fest that you filmed? Because this is like you will soon speak to, but like the next two films are Promocopy and Derelictica, and it's kind of like the boom of like crazy park features. I mean,
Video Gang, we built a bunch. Mammoth built some sick stuff for us. And Snow Summit in South Lake, they built. That's where the pipe shot.
oh yeah,
Of Chad with the first human drone that we're in. I was like on my stomach with the camera, like with the pretty much a 16 with a 10 to 100 following, and people like even a lot of people from other movie like were like, how did you guys get this shot? So
you need to kind of explain that shot.
Yeah, well, that winter, like it was the guys from Freeride first, like the mountain bike guys, got the old cable cam human with it was a hand gliding harness that you lay in it. So the mountain bike guys did it. It was a Big Tom Erickson, that showed me and Johnson how to do it. Like they did it, I think, in Freeride maybe in 2002, 2001 for mountain bike stuff in the summer, you know? So those guys found, so you had the metal cable with come-alongs and like that with a huge ratchet come along. So you tied in. So we had all these things made that you put around trees with pulleys and then a big come-along that you went from a tree to another tree. You could never tie that on any lamppost or anything because you'd pull them down. So there were these. So we had 100-foot cable, probably this big, that weighed like, that thing weighed, probably weighed 200 pounds. It took two of us to carry it through like airports and stuff. But yeah, that guy showed us how we got everything made. And then we got even a special X thing that we were the first one to do it because the thing kept spinning like that. So Johnson kind of figure out something where an X, like with 4 thing, you wouldn't spin because before it was only one rope. So when you went down, sometimes you turn.
Oh yeah, so you're hanging onto a cable.
Yeah, you're
laying
on your
in this
stomach.
harness, and you don't want the harness to pivot so you can get the
Yeah.
shot straight.
Yeah, so you stay straight, you know, and you laid on the ground. So pretty much you laid on the ground, and then they jack you up, and then you had a rope, a safety rope to the thing with on you with a little like a climbing come along that you can stop, you know, when people climb. But at first time we tried that, we did it over a ditch in Burnaby in the woods with Tom. He showed us how to use it. And I remember Johnson was like, I went first and, you know, he guided me. And then Johnson's like, all right, it's my turn. Here we go. He's sliding down. And then I dropped the rope. And I'm like, oh, shit. And he's sliding down. He's like, yeah. And I'm like, ah. Like, dude, he was going straight. And I didn't put a knot at the end. So I grabbed the rope just in time, like blocked him. And he swung probably like 2 feet from the tree. He's like, that was close. And I was like, I didn't even tell him. I'm like, oh, shit. So after you had to run the harness by itself first and see where, and then we made a knot. So if you drop the rope, it didn't. You didn't drop.
You didn't die. You start
Yeah.
going 100 miles an hour
Dude.
down a zip line
Yeah.
with no end.
Nathan Yen flew in the trees in Mammoth at a park shoot. He had the branch pretty hard. I had a tree in Finland. We took that thing on the rail trip. So the beginning of like Helsinki. So Video Gang was the first year you saw real footage out of Helsinki. Because Malmi's like, you guys got to come here, all the rail, no one bugs you here and stuff. And yeah, we brought that cable thing there. And there's a shot of Eddie, I think, on a wood rail or something.
Yeah, the half cab 50 off the toes back
that I
180.
shot with a digi camera in it. And Johnson was above, like, he couldn't see me because I dropped in the parking lot. And then Chad Otterstrom was supposed to tell him when to stop me. And I think Chad, like everyone got so like excited of watching that they never told Johnson to stop me. And I'm coming down at one point. I'm like, oh shit. And you can see in the shot. Good thing I went feet first, dude. I flew into a tree, like full accordion, like boom, camera on the ground.
I got the shot, but fuck you guys.
Yeah, that thing was sketchy. But it did some amazing shot. And the pipe shot was a 2 winch cat with the winch in the back. So there was one part like rear, and then they took the cable, winched the other one and tied it. And then a sled, it was a sled with chain around the skis to guide the speed.
What?
of it.
Smart.
Yeah. It's still like you watch.
Is there a behind the scenes shot of that? No one filmed you doing the shot?
No, dude. Nobody, like people had camera, but not a lot of, there must be some photo. Like I'm sure.
That cable cam shot is fucking so fire. I remember the first time I watched that, I was like, I'd never seen anything like this. I was like, they have a helicopter driving just over top of it doesn't make any sense.
No,
you know what I mean?
And a lot of people, like, even when that came out, even a lot of people, like, I remember even, I think Justin, maybe Osnick or some other people were like, how do you guys get to do that shot, man? Like some people were wondering.
You have to hire me.
That was pretty sketchy, that thing, dude. Like, to be honest, like, even those winch cat, like if too much pressure, that cable would have snapped. It would have like took my head off, and me and Johnson like there was some the cable cam was sketchy a bit. Like
Well,
like mountain bikers, those guys kind of, I think they were the first one. They were the first one to do it. But it was and traveling with it, that setup was ridiculous. It got smaller after people found better ways to do it, you know, and it definitely got better.
So I feel like a lot of these films, they got put together from filmers like yourself and, you know, Mack Dawg putting all the pieces together. But the editing, a legend who lived around here, I'm not sure if you were close friends or what your relationship to it, but Gary Pendergrass put like a lot of these films together in the editing room.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did True Life. He did Resistance.
Yeah.
I think he did the Whiskey 3. I think some of the Whiskey.
Like what an eye, like naturally, just to piece these films together. Like what a legend.
Yeah, he was. True Life. He did. He was the editor. He was a really good editor.
Man, there's so
really good filmer and really good editor.
There's so many like names in here that you like, you know, lightly bring up throughout this conversation that like really have made snowboarding what it is today. And like sometimes it's just wild to think about like the ripple effect that like you and your brother had, you know. Look at the list of riders. Like I'll just name a couple, but like you mentioned Mike Page there, Alex Ashu, DCP, JF, Benji Ritchie, like Jesse Fox, John Cartwright. Like there's a lot of people who had a huge impact in their day for snowboarding. And it's kind of comes from like you and your brother coming here and starting a project like The Gathering with really not knowing what you're doing.
Just filming anyone.
And just filming.
That's why we kind of call it like that. You know, it came like even the first ones like Malevolent Production, like The Gathering. I remember like, I was like, oh, that'd be a good name. And it was like a New Testament album coming out. It's all about metal for me. And I was like, oh, that'd be a good name. And then Malevolent there's a band called Malevolent Creation, which in The Gathering, the Bell section, that song Bone Exposed, it's from that band. And I kind of stole the font. That's the Malevolent Creation.
Oh, nice.
But then the year after, it was too hard to say the name, you know? And it kind of means like it's like evil creation or whatever it means. So they call it The Gathering Collective after. But the whole thing, my brother, with those movies, he wanted like, he didn't care if you had a lot of money for sponsors. Like him, he wanted to give a chance to all the new kids that came, you know? It was like, oh, those guys don't want to film him, all the politics and the bigger film. My brother was like, fuck that. That's bullshit, you know? He's like, I'm going to film that those guys are like, love those guys were 10 times better riders than some of the guys that were in the massive movie and making tons of money. There was a lot of snowboarders that made a lot of money that were not super good, you know? They were good, but there was a lot of, I think there was a lot of guys that were really good that never made it. First, because they were Canadian, a lot of them. If you were American, right away you had an advantage right off the bat. Like in the 90s, they wanted like my brother even to move to the States. Like he moved to Tahoe one winter, but he ended up like never been there really. He's like, this place, like he's like, it's raining, the mountain. He's like, Whistler Blackcomb calling me. He's like, how is it? I'm like, oh, just dumped 3 feet, just did like 2 Kyber run up to my neck. And at one point he's like, fuck this. So he moved it like, because they wanted people to move the States, you know? So I think being Canadian, right away, your chance, you know, for a bit, a lot of companies saw the potential that came out of Whistler, but especially the French Canadian, the name. A lot of people, the name was weird. And personality, like even like Gaetan always struggled with like some sponsor because of his name, you know, like, oh, your name, Gaetan Chan, it's hard to say. Like Jeff was easy because it's not Jean-Francois, you know. If he would have went by that, like to market him would have been hard.
It's like LNP. You just had to change his name.
Yeah.
You know?
And I remember even Forum all talking about putting Gaetan on Forum.
Damn.
They want to put him, but for them, they were like, oh, we can't market him. They need, you know, like
Mike Page sounds a lot easier.
Yeah, his name, Gaetan's name, like, and at one point, Gaetan's like, I'm going to change my name. It's like, it's too late. You know, like a good, like Reno. Remember Reno?
Reno B?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Reno
he's so
B.
sick.
his name Renaud Bellil,
Yeah.
like right away him it was Reno. So it was a good name,
Yeah.
Like it was, yeah, it's weird. The name had something to do with it, Some of the French Canadian guy, because their name wasn't marketable, the big company were like, oh no, we're, like,
That must and like it's weird because it's like this form of like exclusion almost, and you're like
Yeah.
that. So then you do want to band together, and then you start something like the Gathering, and there's a real movement behind it with real energy, and there's like a group of people that are living together, like formulating these fucking ideas, and there's a bit of frustration behind it because you feel a little bit like outcasts because you're like, fuck this, like.
yeah,
There's talk of me getting on forum, but I'm imagining there's a group of like 20 of you, and outside of that, there's a group of like 30 homies that are French Canadians that live in town that are like fucking homies, ride or die. And you hear these stories of like everyone getting really talented, getting opportunity, and then hitting the ceiling. And you're like, only a couple of us are allowed through that. You know what I mean? Which,
yeah,
fuck.
it was, and that was the Gathering. And if you watch like all the Gathering, like after like Clockwork and like Triumph, if you would have put those movies all filmed in 16 mil, they would have been up there with Mackdawg and Standard, no problem. It was all filmed with digital camera because there was no budget for the 16 mil. Because it was expensive. Like the Video Gang Winter was pretty crazy. That was like,
How much is a budget for a film like Video Gangs?
I don't know,
Roughly.
I think it was over $1 million for them. Like,
So that's
maybe
like 2
more.
million now.
Yeah, I don't know, but they didn't really care. And I think that's the year Forum was going out of business. So I think halfway through the winter, they kind of knew that they were done, or maybe they knew at the beginning because they didn't really care. Like even going to Montreal, like the conditions were bad here. And then I was like, I went to Montreal, do a trip, like rail trip. I'm like, let's go there. And then I was there for like a couple of weeks. Then the riders had to leave, but then it was still shitty snow here. So Johnson's like, just stay there. We'll send more riders in a week or two, Forum's like, then I was like, oh, I need more money. They were like, yeah. Like the same day, you had like 4 or 5K in your account, like per diem. I'm like a week later, hey, we need more money. No problem. Like, it was pretty great. And I remember filming Malmy on the famous rail, Mont Habitant, Quebec. Those sea rail, there's one on each side. So Malmy hitting that thing, and it was pretty hard rail to do, like really weird. And I remember popping the film out of my camera onto the ground. And there was like, I don't know, there must have been like 30 rolls on the ground in a pile. Because they were just not made. There was no bell or nothing cool, You're not going to send those roll in for people to sit there and just watch somebody get on a rail and get off in the stairs.
Totally.
And there was a picture. I forgot who had it, who was taking picture there, but beside the camera, there's a pile. There's probably like, these days would be like, probably like 3-4 grand worth of film sitting on the ground. You know what I mean? We needed, like, I was like, call it like, oh, I need more film. Like there was like $2-3 of like film showing up 2 days after, like FedEx at the hotel room,
I remember that photo being in an old Forum pamphlet, and Yoni has this. Remember the Forum street dweller with no edges?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Yoni ad on it. Is like him board sliding that sea rail.
Yeah. Dude, with Mal, like I think he had that thing for like 4 hours, 5 hours.
Oh,
He never quit, dude. He never quit it. Hardest worker for filming, Malmy, hands down. Eating shit, wet, like just battered, like bleed. Just like take me up again, up the jump, Like in Video Gang, he's got backside 180 on the Forum step down. And you can see the landing. That's the one Pete has that insane front 7 melon on it. Like that he did, I think, first try, probably. Or second try, but Malmy, you see all the holes after that back 180, no grab. He does. It's still sick to back 180 that, no grab. And dude, he ate shit like over and over, like an hour or two until he's like, no, I'm going to get it. And same with rail with him. It was crazy. Like traveling with him was pretty funny, man. Like just leaving, like going to a rail spot, leaving there, I was like, hey, where's your jacket? He's like, some kid will find it tomorrow. I'm like, we can turn around. No. Going to a hotel, leaving the hotel room. And I was like, dude, you're not packing your clothes? It's like, I just ordered some new one already. Like I used to grab all this stuff and like bring it to my friend when we're in Quebec. But I like traveling with him anywhere, you would just leave all this stuff and then order fresh stuff. Oh no, there's fresh stuff in Whistler when we get back. Just leaving it in the hotel.
Now everyone wants that forum stuff so bad.
It was like
those relics.
But yeah, those winters were pretty crazy.
Well, because there's no budget. When you're not playing with a budget and you're hanging out with the forum crew, which is a bunch of young kids who are, I don't know, it's hard to explain like that generation to people that are in this digital world. It's just a very different landscape because, I mean, those names that we're bringing up were like legitimate rock stars to this community, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
oh, yeah.
And so they were just like, I don't know, like Jed Anderson's the only person I heard doing that. I think he was on Nike, would just be like, yeah, I'm just going to leave like my snowboard and boots here because I'll just get a new one or whatever. Like, I'm not even going to pack it up. And you're like, I remember hearing stories like this, or Travis Kennedy and how much money he was spending and how much money he was leaving. There's like boards at the fucking, just leave my whole setup here in Mammoth. You're like, what? Like, as a kid who's buying stuff, you're like, dude, I'd do anything for that setup for free. Like, I just dented my edge on this shitty box because they never used to put fucking side guards on any piece of steel until like 2007 or something like that. So I think it was a scheme. I think that was a marketing scheme with Burton and Forum, as they collaborated with these resorts to not put in anything in between the pieces of steel on the posts, so kids would just destroy their boards and have to buy new ones all the time.
Probably.
How many boards were fucked under those railings, dude? Like, come out easy on come out a little early on a S rail or a C rail. It's like, hopefully you dodge your limb, but like your board is getting obliterated.
Yeah, no, it was, and even like the filmer, like we used to get massive box. I'm like, oh, I need gear. Like, and there was like 2 massive box showing at the house. Like,
now you get a box and no paycheck.
4 or 5 outfit, couple boards, boots, like it was, but I think, that year too, it was even when it was weird at Forum when they were editing the video in the summer. I went down there, I drove down, and you could see there was nothing. There was nobody left in the building. It was like,
what was that like to come back during the falling apart of Forum? Were you like, fuck, people are looking for new sponsors, stressful, like?
Yeah, like even me at the end, like I was like, oh, they still, are they gonna pay me till the end of my contract? Like a lot of riders were like, I don't know, some people, most of them knew, but I remember when I drove down and I was actually at 4-star, I was like, oh yeah, I'm like,
you could sense the vibe.
There was nobody left in there. There was like 4 or 5 people walking around. The whole place was.
It's just Nick's in there.
No. Those guys there, I don't even know yet if those guys there knew. Like, you know what I mean? At 4-star, if they're like, so you got in trouble. Like I think something happened that winter. Something happened with distribution in the States. From what I recollect, like somebody kind of fucked up the way stuff got shipped. And most of the shop didn't get their stuff in December and November. And then later in the week, cancel all their order because once you're in January, you're not selling snowboard anymore. You know what I mean? After Christmas, the sales go like this. So I think something happened. Something happened weird, but yeah, they were done.
Let me ask you this. Let's get a couple bullet points here. I want to know your favorite clips. These are just like whatever come to your mind. Your favorite rail clip that you've ever filmed.
Oh.
Or one that you like. Maybe I'll draw the intensity down on the in question, and we'll just go like a rail clip that you were hyped that you filmed.
Oh. Probably something a video gang in Finland.
I mean, the cable cams, maybe.
Yeah. But Montreal, I filmed some cool stuff in Montreal and Quebec City. There was a cool shot of Nate Bozing olling in the old Quebec City, olling over a wall onto that wood rail. That was pretty sick. That was actually pretty gnarly. like where he had to go.
I remember that shot well.
Yeah. And
That's sick. You got to film with Bozong. I was a huge fan.
Yeah,
his
yeah.
his part in Pulse is fucking fire.
yeah. And then Finland, like in Video Gang, and then yeah, there was some good shot of Malmi in there for sure.
Park jump.
Park jump. Something at Mammoth probably, or Snow Summit. I don't know what to say. Like Page, I had some good shot of Page. And Mammoth, there was a session too. We had some really good park jump. Like kind of Andreas Wig maybe on something. Yeah, there's a machine. It's hard. The park one, I'm trying to remember like good ones, you know. I think it was always at some old ones who at the Meadows, Hood Meadows, old Mackdawg one. Like elevator jump and then some of the park stuff we used to do there.
I mean, just tossing out the name Andreas Wig as if you got to film, like, I could only imagine what it would be like to film the talented snowboarders on a park jump and then Andreas hit it back then. You'd be like, holy fuck, because he was so
insane.
good.
And one guy that was really good, underrated, but kind of fell off the radar early a bit because I think he couldn't come to Canada for some reason, so he couldn't film the backcountry. Alistair Schultz. That dude was hands down like what style and skill. He was like above a lot of people. Hands down. He was sick. I shot with him in the States mostly, like Hood Meadows, and like yeah, I had some good shot of him on some park and spring stuff. He was insane, man. That was like Ben, local guy, like skill wise and style. He was in advance of a lot of rider.
That's a sick name right there. I heard that name a lot, and I actually can't even think of like a shot of his in my head right now for some reason.
No, you'd have to watch. And he's got shot in Amp, Stand and Deliver. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit. But technical, I think he's in technical too.
Yeah,
maybe Decade too. Decade and technical. And some of the old Kingpin.
I just can't bring a shot. I know the name super well, but I can't bring a shot out into my head, which is ridiculous. But
just smooth, really smooth, lanky, tall, like skinny, tall guy. Really, 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 really good style.
All right, powder jump. You got a standout shot on one of those that you filmed that you were like, holy fuck, because you filmed pretty much snowboarding change live from behind that camera.
Yeah.
From people doing like shifties and stuff like that with T-bolted snowboards to
Gaetan's back 7 on perfect jump was pretty sick. Like with the shadow coming at the end there was you know when you had perfect jump and the sun goes down, you can see that shadow. You can pretty much
creep it.
You watch it creep up. And he back 7 that thing to like almost flat and just stomped it, and the shadow was creeping up. Devon too, maybe on Dekine corner gap, and I think it's in True Life, that shot on the corner there. Those are a good powder one. For Rainbow Step Down, there's some good ones on there. JF and Gaetan.
Who were your favorite? Like, no, let me rephrase that question. Your favorite group of snowboarders now or in their prime, but if you could piece together 3 riders, or what's the perfect size crew for you? Riders,
it can be more than 3.
Okay, 3 riders in their prime at any era. Let's just say hypothetically they could all be right now. Who would you put into your dream crew to film with, and 1 photographer?
A lot of people are gonna be, you fucking dick, you didn't put me in there.
Yeah, totally.
Well, to go out and you know you're gonna get shot and they're gonna do gnarly stuff
in their prime, like when they were their best.
I'd say Devon, for sure. Probably
And you can go current day too, because I know you're filming a lot of the young guns today too.
Yeah. Or current day too.
You can just, it's your dream team. You know what I mean?
Well, the Devin, Mikey, Renz, because that's another one. We'll get that because that's a bit later after the other. But yeah, Renz, you coming back with clips, 100%. And then, like old days, Gaetan was pretty, dude. Like, Gaetan was pretty on it. Like, you went in the backcountry, you came out with clip. Like, 100%. Like, you came out with stuff. He was going to stomp, pretty much. His stomping ability were like, the three most stomper in the backcountry, to me, that I've documented is Devin, Gaetan, and Mikey Renz. Like the ratio of landing was pretty much 99%. Like Mikey, like even I remember filming with Mikey, like for in promo copy, and even Alex was sitting beside you. He's like, dude, like, like it was insane.
And he
Even
was
young.
17 in promo copy, I think.
Oh my God, yeah.
16 maybe.
Dude.
He's jumping on the trampoline for the beginning of that part, and
Yeah.
I think that's the part. Dude.
That winter, like he filmed with my brother before, so my brother, we're kind of part of his upbringing, pretty much, like, because he didn't have, like, as soon as he left home, like, there was no, he lived with his mom in Squamish and then in Whistler, but then, like, his kind of, his dad lived in Canmore, so kind of his father figure of the Sea to Sky was like, the oldest people in the crew, the filmer, my brother, and then it was me, like try to keep him alive off and on the snow. And yeah, it's just, like snowboarding wise, like it was perfect, but like, Keith, his truck, like just like tools, how to do stuff, a lot of those kids never had jobs. They went straight from living at home to everything cooked to them to being pro snowboarder and getting paid when they were like 15 years old, like same with Arrow and Ika and those guys. Like they were born, like they had little job in shops here and there, and some of them never really had job. They went straight into snowboarding.
That's
So
a special breed.
Special breed, yeah, Reno too, and them, and special breed. But sometimes you were like, but I'm glad I kind of teach them a lot of stuff. Like none of them knew how to use tools or do anything. You know what I mean? Like, because it takes a lot. People think you go in the backcountry, but oh, you guys just get there and get shots. I'm like, dude, we got to get there, especially in the early 2000s with those sleds. They always broke. Like one of them broke through the day, 100%. And yeah, you had to wrench on them. You had to. So pretty much showing them like they were my kids, like, oh, this is how you use, you take the ratchet here and like,
this is how you change
like,
a belt.
Yeah, like even your truck, check the oil, like put the right fuel in, Like,
this is a diesel truck.
Yeah. But yeah, like, yeah, it was pretty, yeah, the early days was,
man, that
for sure, like those three guys and photographer, there was a lot of fun ones to go out with. Like there was more than one, Like, yeah, Colin was always fun to go with. Who came with us a lot? It was hard. Like, there was not a big group, because Dano always worked with for Forum. So he was pretty much, working with Forum all the time. So we always had to call Jeff Andrick, used to come with us a lot. Colin, Ollie, when he started it, Video Gang.
Dude,
that's the first winter I brought him. Like he was shooting with my brother and them, but he bought a sled that winter. He wasn't good at sledding at the beginning. And some days I was like, come with us, like even the form guys like Peter and them, like, oh, they're like, who is he? Because they didn't want to bring photographer that, because it was so important back then. Because there was no phone, no nothing. So you had to bring a photographer that the magazine would buy the photo. So for Ollie, when I brought him with Video Gang, that's like his forum, shooting the forum guys really brought him up, you know?
That's insane. That's his
Yeah.
first like real big crew that he shot. And to me, like he's his style of photography and what he's captured. He's one of my favorite photographers.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, hands down. Because that's the thing. There was the stock photographer that always kind of did the filming angle, which, you know, for a bit, the magazine wanted all morph stuff, you know? So you had to shoot everything wide so they can do
the
full
sequence.
the sequence, you know? Like, so but I think at one point was like, fuck this, man. This is bullshit, you know? Like, let's get like the real art of photos, which I like when people do different stuff completely.
What photographers and filmers do you think push those two envelopes? Because, like you were saying there, you're other than yourself, you know, you're hanging in through cable cams and stuff like that. But what are some other photographers and filmers that, through the course of you doing that craft, you were like, I really appreciate these, you know?
That Absinthe for sure, like Justin Austin. He didn't want to come to Whistler to shoot the class. Like he was like, fuck Whistler. But he shot stuff different. Like because he was a photographer in the 90s. I remember going up shooting photo on Whistler with me and Wes, and he was the photographer.
Makepeace?
Yeah, me and
Sick.
Makepeace. Like,
I love Wes.
like you're riding, I forgot where we're on the peak, like, and Justin was taking photo. I think he was working for Snowboarder back then or something. But Austinic, coming from being a photographer, I think first at a lot of photographers that jumped into filming, I think brought a new style of filming for sure.
And Hosnick over on the Absinthe side, just for those that don't know who Justin is, that's who we're talking about here. The guy who started. Did he start? He started Absinthe, right?
Yeah.
I was just making sure there wasn't somebody else there. But yeah, incredible. I love his eye and what him and people like Shane Charlebras have like brought to the table. Like I like those Absinthe movies because they do look different.
Yeah, Bruce T too's a photographer.
Yeah.
And he was the filmer. I think the Euro had a different style, and I think that's like Absinthe was Bruce T and Justin together, like going like, oh no, we're not doing that. A bit like the Pirate did, you know, at the beginning. Like Bastille and Flo, like, and those guys when they came out, like those are some of my favorite video from more modern era because their videos were sick, man. Like shot completely different. And
what did you think about like when Robot Food and like Kids Know comes out and they do like Burning Bridges and Love Hate, and then there's Robot Food.
Robot Food was different. Those guys were again.
But when you first saw them, were you like, "This is sick," or were you kind of like confused because they were a little different than typical?
I was like even the first Absinthe when I watched it, to me it was too long, and I always had problem with long video.
Oh, coming from your generation when they're an hour and 20 minutes long.
Well, no, but like even like these are 25 minutes, 30
they're perfect.
minutes, 35. For me, with credit, when you start passing 40 minutes, it's hard to stay engaged. I think and I remember watching the first time I saw the first Absinthe movie, I wasn't super stoked on it. But then after rewatching it, when I watched it more, I started liking it better. They use different music, more the Euro style, you know, that people are like, oh, what's that song? You know, a lot of and then Robot Food, a lot of kind of like emo song. Then we're like, what's up with this shit?
Totally.
But Robot Food definitely had their own style of filming because I think those guys, even as a writer, had a lot to say with the filming, you know, to the filmer. Oh, no, this is what I want. Get this shot like that, you know? They all work together, and that's why I think Robot Food, when it came out, it looked different. It was like, oh, okay, cool. It's not just the perspective of like the filmer. I'm gonna take the solid, you know. They had like that. They had a lot to say in it. I think David Benedict he was in charge. Like, no, this is how we edit. This is how we filmed that jump. This is, you know, and you can see it in the movie too.
Was there a rider or a couple riders that you feel like really understood the camera? Because I feel like there's a lot of incredible snowboarders, but some people don't know how to extract a photo or a video shot, and some people just seem like they know that if you're the camera, how to like dance with that. You know what I mean? Where like if you don't know how to like, if you're setting up from this angle where to do the turn and stuff, you know, some people just know where to place their snowboard based on, and some people don't get it at all.
No. A lot of people are getting, my brother knew that. And he told, you can ask any photographer. He was like, I'm going to go there. I'm going to turn there. You're going to go there. And photographers sometimes were like, that's my job. He was like, no. He's like, you stand there and you're going to see the photo.
This is what Martin would say to them?
Yeah. He's like, it's going to be published. Trust. And it was. Every time he did that, photographer after were like, fuck, he was right, man. That photo actually made it in a magazine. He had a good eye. He was really good for an angle. He had a good eye for, JF had a good eye too for angles. It was important to listen to the writer for angles and stuff. And as a filmer, a lot of times, especially back then, sometimes I was like, oh, no, it looks better from here. And after like seeing a different crew, a different year, and it was shot from there, I was like, kind of looks good. But it was hard because when you're one camera, it's like sometimes you get somewhere you're like, oof. From here, I get the backlit and the pop. But then the writer's like, well, you don't see how big the gap is. So it's kind of like,
oh yeah, it's such a hard job, dude.
But when you're when you're two filmers, you know, like then it's easier. Then you always have somebody taking the good solid and then get somebody else to go tighter and slower and get the backlit and the pop and the snow, you know. And now these days are two camera and the drone, so it's kind of hard to like miss the shot, really.
I mean, when I think about flipping through old magazines, I think of like your brother being in every single one with a photo. So clearly he was good at it.
Yeah. You can ask any photographer. It'd be like, come with me. He's like, stand there. I'm going to go there. I'm going to slash this. I'm going to air from there. Photographer, he's like, no. This is the angle.
How do you think your brother would want to be remembered in snowboarding? Like, what do you think his legacy is in snowboarding? Like,
I don't know. I think he just wanted, like you saw in the video, you know, like he just wanted people like give a chance. Like it was really corporate. He always hated like the thing. Oh, you know, like companies like, you know, like Forum, Mag, like your name's not good enough. Cause there was guys in the French crews that were better than a lot of riders that made $100,000 a year or $200,000 a year. Like,
and your brother seeing that
skill wise, there was like, you know, some of them were way better. Like they just didn't get the chance, their name, whatever. Like my friend, like Etienne Tremblay. That's one of the best all around snowboarder. That dude could go in the pipe, destroy the pipe completely, go in the backcountry, insane in the backcountry, demolish anything, and then take him on rail, destroy rails too. Like it's just, and those guys started their own movie company. Kind of when the gathering kind of changed a bit, they started and they made some good video. You watch their video, man.
Sugar Shack?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Like there's some, like the rail, that's when they took all the Quebec City rail riders. Like those guys were better.
Oh, Jan Dauphin, like
yeah.
When he came out, like him, Max.
At one point, like JP and Jeremy and those guys really, they were the first like street soup, like they were insane, you know? Like they did gnarly shit with style. It had to be perfect. If not, you know.
JP and Jeremy are who they are, not because they figured out loopholes. It's because like if you watch JP and Jeremy in their prime, they were arguably the two best ATV snowboarders. Like Jeremy was doing back nines into powder before, like in a double line, I'm pretty sure, in true life. And JP would like he cab 9 decline gap off the toes, which is arguably one of the fastest jumps you have to hit in snowboarding. To comprehend the pop and the timing to do that trick, which is informed that, mixed with like inventing street riding and doing switchback lips with no takeoff because nobody was building ramps onto these rails back then. It's like you had to pop onto them. Like
little, but not. They didn't want to see like it's just I think when the trick, but yeah, and it had to be perfect. Like if his hand, like he landed it, oh no, I came off a little too early. Not good. But it's the same. I was there when they were cutting like Stand Deliver and True Life, and the light had to be and any roll. If you watch like Standard and then Absinthe at a bit more, one hand touch, but if it was big, it was in the video. And Mackdawg, one touch hand, cutting room floor.
The amount of footage, this is my goal in life. If you're a billionaire or a millionaire, multimillionaire, and you want to support my fucking idea, which rules, give me some money so I can buy all of Mack Dawg, Justin Hosnick from Absinthe, all of Whitey's old film, all of the best filmmakers' old footage that was in the chopping room, B angles. You could make 25 more snowboard videos that imagine the B angle, and sometimes the shot that like was really great in 1995 or in 2000 or 2015 evolves and changes to at that specific time you might be on the fence with using it, but it actually might have been one of the most timeless clips. I'm imagining there's clips of riders out there like JP, Jeremy, Devin that nobody's ever seen that are like there's probably a switchback one of Devin that nobody's ever seen that for some kind of reason, maybe they already had another switchback one. He's in the right board. He was on a next year's board that got chopped or whatever. There's footage sitting and collecting dust that needs to be seen. And I'm asking you guys to fund me with this project.
Oh yeah, there's definitely, because I think there wasn't as many trick in the backcountry getting done. So like a lot of guys want to get the perfect switchback one or perfect cab 5 or perfect, you know what I mean? So I think there was a lot of footage, like a lot of tricks that were good that didn't get used because they got pushed over. The riders like, oh, I got 5 backside 180. So you had to choose one.
Well, the older generation there, like really perfected that like cab cork 5, like great. And then you talked about a new generation there. Arrow, Ika, and Mikey. Like when that kind of trio and they're like, Laurie Hiscari and that kind of group came to town.
Oh yeah.
Like Benji Ritchie, like that generation was like the cab 5. It was like cab 7, cab 9, switchback 7. It was like, and they're doing it like with the best like Euro style
because they were still riding park a lot. They were park guys like. The generation before, like even you take Gaetan, JF, Devin, like JP, those guys like in the park, they were not. Like in 2003, 4, you went in the park with them. They compare to like Reno, Benji, Arrow, Ika, those guys on like park was like
Pat Moore.
Yeah, it was like ridiculous. Yeah, remember like Video Gang. That's when Pat and Laurie came and those guys, and it was new. And then the year after, like Promo Copy, those guys were all in the movie. That was a good winter too. Mikey had an insane part in that.
Yeah.
Ren's part. And then Derelictica, I think that's when Blauvelt.
Oh, that's Blauvelt's first couple shots.
Yeah. And I remember first time I met Jake was at the Blue Lake in Tahoe. And when this jump, it looks like a big cheeseburger, like the hamburger jump. It's like a step down with like a 6-foot landing. And I remember when the snow was hot, like shitty snow. And we went there and he was going to hit it. And there was the other filmer I was with Mikey and Ashu. And then we went to met those guys and he's like, oh, he's getting ready. So I'm like, oh, I'll take a second angle. And I remember Jake like trying like a frontside cork or something into like a step down with like a tranny finder, like crazy shit, like a good 20-foot drop into like a time. And even like Mikey was like, whoa, man, this is like I was like, man, this kid's on fire, like East Coast too, like just got here. So that's pretty much, that was his first winter filming.
Blauvelt's another one to add to that group that was in there. Like that next generation. Mikey, Arrow, Ika, Benji, Blauvelt, Pat Moore, like fucking Travis
Laurie,
Kennedy, like Laurie.
Travis, yeah.
Like they were all just like, there was a natural talent. I think that they all wanted and had learned from people like you guys the importance of like, not even the importance, but just like the passing of the torch and being respected by your peers came from not, yeah, of course, like your partying and stuff like that, but your actual progression on the board. And you kind of needed to get the nod from like the Devons and the Hughes and the Kerns and stuff. And when you got that, I think it meant a lot to those young kids to be like, we're in, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Oh,
these
yeah.
we were kind of like, maybe they were made fun of or whatever. They weren't in the club, but like, you're coming to Whistler with sleds. You're now in the club. And
Oh,
they
terrified, dude. They were terrified to come.
but like they also like they upheld the like responsibility, which sounds super whack, but like of what a professional snowboarder needed to look like for the next generation of like Mark Sollers and stuff like that, of like, that's what a pro snowboarder is. You know what I mean? And like, you know, you have fun and stuff, but when it's time to like chalk up a fucking couple blocks and hit this jump, like short tracking, it's not a clip, you know? Like hitting a jump that's played and doing the same trick on it's not a fucking clip. Like those guys like pushed it. You know what I mean? Like when they came out here and I saw their footage in kind of that Derelictica promo copy era, I was like, that's what 18-year-olds are fucking doing. Like, with the best style too. Like, of course they're getting mentored by like yourself and Devin, JF, and this whole community. But like, wow, they really like, and for like, they all like 10 to 15 to 20 more years after that of like holding that bar.
Yeah. And you had to bring them in the backcountry. That's some other story. Some of them like talk. Remember first time with like Eddie. I think it was in Video Gang. I think he might have just got in Video Gang. Maybe I forgot if it's Video Gang or Promo Copy. But he just bought a sled, and Tao always calling me. He's like, I bought a sled. I got my sled. I'm coming. He's like, man, I'm so nervous. He's like, we're gonna go up and shoot and like. And then he's like, I'm like, you have a helmet? He's like, I gotta go buy a helmet. Which one should I get? I'm like, get the best helmet, you know, because the good ones are lighter and everything. Like, I'm like, go to the sled shop, say you want the best helmet. He's like, all right, I'll get the best helmet. Shows up at first day, we go Tricony because we're going up at the Gallant. No, at Seagram's. So he shows up in the parking lot with a trail, the biggest Skidoo helmet that you put down and have like the fighter pilot mask for when it's like minus 50. And he shows up, takes it out the box, like puts it on his head and opens that thing. And I'm like, and he's got the rubber thing. And I'm like, what is this thing? And and Eddie's like, he's laughing. He's like, you told me you got the best. I'm like, dude, this is a helmet that you plug for the East Coast when it's like minus 50 and you're riding trails. And halfway up the trail, because I remember from Tricony going to Seagram, like in the bumps, it's a pretty big. And halfway up, he's going and he's like, and he's got that thing open. There's steam coming out of it with the rubber thing hanging out. And I go beside him and he's looking at me and he's like, I don't know what I'm doing. He's like, my arms. He's like, I'm just on autopilot. Like, I remember we got at the top. He was so like, people didn't understand the work that it takes to get up there, you know? And same with S-Shoot, bringing people like, oh, we're going to go up S-Shoot. I'm like, yeah. They were like terrified.
Who is the worst sledder story? Did anyone roll their sled down S-Shoot and pillage it?
A lot of people. There's some people, see, when the photo star, when it went from, in the late 90s, when it went from being a photo star snowboarder to one that you actually had to put down your tricks for real and ride out.
Well, photo star, tell me a little bit about this.
Well, through
term.
through the 90s, there was a lot of pro snowboarder that looked good in the air, but didn't land really much. But they were big pro snowboarders because they knew the right person.
Photographer in
their
the
brother,
mags.
their buddy, their dad were photographers. They were they were the photo Joes, kind of. You call that, you know. And I remember my brother always had hard time with some of them, like Then like he was like, this guy's fucking got all this stuff and he can't even land shit. He goes super small, like baby jumps and like
Baby
he was all
jumps.
because he was always about like hitting the biggest stuff. That was his thing.
The cat. Oh, sorry.
But yeah, I think in the late 90s, a lot of people that were pro snowboarder and made money that looked good in magazine. And then to make money, you had to add a video part. And that completely erased the generation of snowboarder that were pro. They just vanished because they couldn't land as much. They didn't like the work that you had to put in. They had to buy sled to go up sledding. I remember like going up a chute and having sled running down with nobody on them and people running behind. And you said, there was some people that were terrified of it, even bringing first time in promo copy, bringing Ika and Laurie. I remember we went to Long Goat one day, like, which is their first days almost all the way to Long Goat. You ever been there?
I'm sure.
On the way to Braylorn, like past Face, past everything. You go like at the split where all the signs are.
Yeah.
Then you turn, go Braylorn, you go left, and then you go for another 15K.
No, I have not been there. I've been to Braylorn, but
we went there, dude, like so far, and those guys were just like, they couldn't, like Laurie was like, oh my God. We're in this wide open glacier, and there's like one tree in the middle, and then I'm going, man, we're like, where's Laurie? Turn around, like, there's probably like 1,000 feet on this side, 1,000 feet on the other side, one tree in the middle. And he turned around, we get there, and he's just sitting there laughing. He hit the thing like straight on me.
don't look at the tree. Don't look at the tree. Don't look at the tree. Boom.
Yeah, there was some people that got it really quick. And there's some people, I think Laurie never liked sledding, to be honest. I think he was happy when he didn't have to go sledding.
I think so too, because he was a better, I don't want to say this and be like harsh, but like his rail riding was incredible. His backcountry was like, his style on jumps was, I think, something really special.
Oh yeah, he was insane.
And like his last couple of parts with DC, it was like undeniable that he should just keep riding jumps and just stop the rails. But I think he must hate the backcountry or sledding or whatever, and he just went more into rails.
Yeah, he did. He didn't like the sledding. Even at the beginning, I remember he got not being a fan of sledding. But
I don't think anybody is at the beginning.
No,
they're a little scared.
Some people were stoked, like I always liked it right away. I think I got good pretty fast at it.
Oh, I did
Because
not.
back then with the sled too, people that didn't have good physical strength with the old sled had a really hard time.
Yeah.
Because it's not like now where you can pretty much turn the sled with your feet. Just by switching your weight with the new sled, you don't have to use your arm that hard, to be honest with you, to turn them. But back then you had to.
Okay, best sledder from the 90s, best sledder in the early 2000s, and best sledder like modern day. That's a snowboarder. That's like a
sled snowboarder.
Sled
combo?
Snowboarder. Somebody who was the best in the 90s, early 2000s, and kind of now.
90s Cal? Probably?
Nice.
Yeah.
That
For
shot of
sure.
him in Pulse, like
Yeah.
where he like, I think it's Pulse, where he like tries to hit this step up and he like airs into the corner slip and falls
Yeah.
out Kale style. And then at the end, he hits it on his
Yeah.
sled.
Yeah.
That shot's sick.
Yeah, Cal was always a good buddy, physically strong again. Like people that were Jeff was a really good engaged onto. Like everybody that did it a lot. After that, it was really good sledding. Like you had to like it. Love the moto guys really liked it. John Jackson's a really good sledder.
Yeah, I can see
Pretty
that.
crazy. Love sledding too. Like super love sledding. Arrow got it really quick. Arrow right off the bat, the first winter bringing him sledding, he pretty much like he got it right off the bat. Like it didn't take him long.
He's one of my favorite snowboarders. Jump style of like all time.
Yeah, he got it really quick and he enjoyed it. He loved sledding. Like at the beginning, Mikey didn't like sledding. Like like always. Like
Then he did a couple park jump shoots, knuckled one probably, and was like, I'm
Yeah.
going to the backcountry. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Like,
No, but he did like at the beginning, a lot of people didn't like it. It was, the old sled, they sucked, dude. When it was too cold, they didn't start, they didn't, they broke. Like you had to enjoy it. I think Devin was a good sledder too. Like he enjoyed it. Kearns was a good sledder. And after
Was your
like,
brother a good sledder?
Yeah. He was a good sledder. Yeah, he was.
Were you better or was he better?
I think I got better quicker. I kind of like he was good, but I kind of like I got like once I got like
I'm not getting stuck.
Yeah,
Like you
and
need to
I like it like yeah, I like sledding, like because like I say, if you had the physical strength to like toss a sled around, it was way easier back then. Then you were like, oh yeah, this thing's fun. I can make it do what I want. But people, that are not as strong physically had a really hard time.
or timid. I feel like if you're a little like
Timid, yeah, you had to be aggressive.
yeah.
Still to this day, like you got to ride with intention. But there was a lot of like now that really good.
Like for like yeah.
There's a lot of good sledders now, snowboarder, because most of them enjoy it. A lot of them do.
Well, now with the new sleds, it's kind of hard not to enjoy it because they work so well.
Yeah, there was a couple. I forgot the name in the early 2000s. There was one dude that filmed with Carlo, with Usher and Carlo. What was his name?
Matt Beardmore.
No, not Matt. There's another guy from Vancouver.
Matt Belzil.
No.
He's not from Vancouver. He's from Quebec.
No,
Rasman. He's too young.
I forgot his name. Usher used to film with, and then I think he filmed with Kingpin maybe a bit. He was actually a really good sledder. He was crazy. He was jumping like all his kickers when he was done.
Yeah, as soon as somebody starts getting air on the sled,
Yeah.
like there's this new kid in town. Maybe you filmed him, maybe you haven't yet, but his name's Jack McDougall. I'm sure you will. Jack's he's only been sledding for a couple but he's like, he's got that like dog in him, like that John Jay kind of vibe.
Mountain biker though.
Yeah, mountain biker.
Yeah. No, but really good mountain biker.
And he's
gnarly.
He's a gnarly mountain biker for sure.
Yeah.
And he's
and
already like
Bryn.
getting air.
Yeah, Bryn too is good.
Bryn's a
Yeah.
good sledder, but he's chill. He's pretty chill.
Yeah.
For how go-getter he is and everything else, like sledding, I feel like he's like, I use this tool to go
up.
snowboarding to be gnarly, not like someone like Kale, he's just like sledding or snowboarding, like I'm down to get fucking gnarly. Like my first year out in the backcountry was with Kale, and it was fucking nuts. Like hitting pillows with his jacket off and landing on his head. Like the amount of times I have vivid memories of just Kale hitting these pillows because it snowed so much that year, and his sled being like so high in the air, launched off this pillow, but Kale being higher than his, and a cannonball, cannonball right off the side of his sled, and this would be like, and then get out, like dig himself out of the hole he's in and like crawl out of it, like yeah, and then like eat the craziest lunch. I was like, all of these stories of Kale are true. Like,
Kale was even the early like it was always 100 miles an hour. When you came back with shot of Kale, it was like insane. He never did stuff kind of like, no. Like Kel never, he looked at that, he was like, oh, that's too small. I'm not hitting that. He's like, that's a fucking training jump, He's like, what are we doing here? Like he wasn't scared to like blast other riders. Like, what are you doing? What are you hitting there? Like, oh yeah, Kel style. Like that was lame, man. He's like, like, what are you doing? You went 10 feet there. He's like, just like, he's like, I'm going to go find something real. And he used to never like, you're like, okay, 7 the parking lot, Kel. No.
Kale and Browner.
9:30 showing up. Like you were out there already building a jump. Yeah, there's Kel.
The one shot of like Vitaly calling Trevor in the morning, and Trevor's all ready to go, and he's like, yeah, Kale and Browner aren't even up right now. They're still drunk. And Trevor's like, what the fuck, man? Like he's so pissed because he's like obviously a little bit younger, and I think he wanted to like get it that year, and he's filming with Browner and Kale, who are just like,
no, even like Trevor and Browner too. Insane snowboarder, love him, like style, everything, but you need a work ethic. He's probably gonna blast me after. He's like, but there's the lifestyle, making the money, being that, but you have to work hard, and some people are just. They just don't want to. They just want to snowboard and have fun and go. But filming was pretty intense, man. I think we went like the stand deliver winter, dude. It was like 4 days of like 4 days a week at least, like nonstop sledding, like 6:30 in the morning, coming back in the dark with the shitty old sled. Like
To do it again the next day.
Yeah, just like, and it wasn't like now people, oh, it's mid-January, but like, okay, yeah, I think I'm ready to film. I'm getting my legs on. It's like, it's mid-January. Like people don't understand how short a winter is. Because before now, people like, oh, if I don't have a video part, doesn't matter. There's no video. Oh, we're doing 2 years. But back then, if you didn't have a good video part and your contract was up, the video part were pretty much what you use to negotiate your next contract. So if you had a shitty video part or you got cut out of the movie, not good for your career.
Yeah, you must have seen that. Like people film for movies and then get cut.
Dude, it was like a mission. And it was from December, like the first snow that came down. It was like, people were not like, oh, we're going to start shooting at this time of the year. It was like until the end of May. We used to go up in the backcountry till June to build spring jumps. Like go side slip the landings.
Brome hip.
Yeah, step down for them. Like the rainbow step down in the spring, dude. Like sun cup, like waiting till it was soft enough and then side slipping the landing and shoveling the bottom. And guys were hitting it.
Yeah, Eddie Wall has a couple clips like that, I think, in Derelictica.
We used to go up, we used to sled. Film season went till the end of May. Pretty much. Now it's like, and at one point, I wouldn't say the year, like 2010, 11, or a bit after, people started, as soon as the power was gone, my season's done in April. I'm going back Cali. I was like, oh, wow. Like they couldn't wait. They were done. You know what I mean?
I mean, at the end of a year, there's probably, I mean, I've been filming since I was 17. I'm 38 now, but there's probably a 10-year window where we were all in, like beginning of the year till the end, or if you got hurt and you're filming every day. And like, I think that level of commitment to something is rare. You know what I mean? Like especially for our group, like everybody held each other accountable, and we had some really difficult seasons just with like the new, I don't even know if they're new, but just challenging like weather. You know what I mean? Like and we really rely on like pillows and POW because we all are a little bit old past that, like want to jump into the snow cup landings in May. So we want good snow. But dude, I feel like there was like 5 years there from like 2015 to 2020 where it's just fucking wind. You know what I mean? You'd get snow and then it would come in with wind and you'd be like, dude, you're just zipping around all of Brandywine to find like any good snow. You're like, dude, what?
Yeah, the winters got...
Devin always was like, dude, there was better snow. Like they would come in and it would be better snow.
There was less wind and less temperature fluctuation. So you had the dry spell, but it didn't get like... There was winter that was bad, like the promo copy winter. That was terrible. Like for like 2 months, pretty much every Canadian crew was down in Tall, Sonora Pass. Like everyone was there, man. Like the gathering crew, the disc crew, me, Oshu, and Mikey in his truck. And it's like not even a crew cab truck with 3 sleds on the trailer. And with hotel room, like rock, paper, scissors, who's sharing the bed with who tonight. Like for, I think we were gone for 6.5 weeks, 7 weeks.
That's commitment.
Yeah, dude, at the end.
When you go for 7 weeks somewhere.
At the end, even like fighting, almost like Oshu and Mikey almost got into a fight. Like, you're such a bad, like screaming. I was like, whoa, man. Like, well, I'm like, we got to get out of here. Reno was there with us. Oh my God. Yeah, just like I'm in the truck with him turning around. He's trying to tags driving, like almost hitting the ditch. Like, yeah, it was like, and I had to be their guardian in the States because they were like 18 years old. They're 17. They were not even allowed to cross. So I had to sign the thing that I was like their guardian.
Let me ask you this.
To be in the States.
One piece of advice you have for some kid trying to like make it, and one piece of advice for how to sled good.
Try to make it in snowboarding now?
Yep.
I don't know. I guess social media a bit. I don't know. You got to maybe do some contests. Like now you got to be seen in the contest scene a little bit, or have connection, know somebody. And if you don't want to do contests and just backcountry, that's pretty hard. You got to buy a sled, work your ass off spring, summer, fall, like go work on the rig or something,
Totally.
get some money. And then now these days you can buy camera equipment for cheap. You can go buy like even a Red Dragon, the older one that are still to me like the best looking footage for like $2-3 grand. So if you have a buddy, you're a bunch of guys together and you have money, you can buy your own camera,
Gathering 2.0.
Yeah, like kind of like, but to be a pro snowboarder thinking you're going to make a lot of money, I think those days they might be over. You gotta do contests. You gotta go to the Olympic, do the X game,
What do you think about the
First.
Olympics being in snowboarding, coming from, that 90s culture of just like what snowboarding really was birthed from to now?
I don't know. I didn't think it was only the pipe at the beginning. It was exciting, but it wasn't, like it was, I don't know. It was weird. Like you take like the Olympic last winter was pretty bad.
Yeah, the judging was just fucked. That's the
Well,
problem.
and
And the jumps, the
That
slope style
big air
course.
jump was like the slope style and the big air.
The slope style jump was just like so boring. It was just like I'd rather watch like, I don't know, an X Games when Kevin Jones was winning.
Yeah, and that big air, to be honest, wasn't a big air. Like that was pretty. And it's the way it's judged too. It's not about style. I don't even know if they judge about style now. Like you watch last winter and Todd Richard said it the best. And I was so stoked when he said that. Like he watched the man and he's like, that was the most boring thing I've ever witnessed in my life. In snowboarding. Because it's all about the full nose double, like
Whirly bird.
the whirly bird, dude, is the worst thing ever.
Agreed.
And the women, big air, was more entertaining
For
to
sure.
watch than the guys because they spin less and they incorporate more style. I think big air at anything should be like when it's a big air, it should be judged. You should have style. You should have like, say you got 3 hits. You should be judged on like how hard the trick you do, but there should be one that's all about style. It doesn't matter if you do a 3, a 5, a 7, a 9. You should have 50% of the points should be judged on the style of the trick and the way you do it. Because it's like, I think like Juliette Pelcha did the most stylish trick at the Olympic.
Yeah, that Cab 9.
Yeah, dude.
She's got a signature. The cool thing about her Cab 9 is it's very her, which is
Yeah.
refreshing to have something.
Yeah,
so
with the crowd, there was some other people that had like good style jump, but I feel like it's got to be, the pipe is pretty insane. That's the one thing. Like the lax open that's one of the most insane thing to watch. More than Olympic. I remember not this winter, the lax was insane, but the winter before when I filmed the Burton video, we're all in Sikkim, it was the whole crew and watching it, and all of us were like, "What the fuck?"
yeah,
dude?
totally. It's insane how
It's-
high they're going on
Dude,
every
the
hit.
travel, like it's like that's the most exciting to watch thing, I think.
Kaishu and Ayumu have made pipe riding fucking. I mean, everybody there. Yeah, for sure. There's a whole group of them. But those two specifically for me,
dude.
they're like the Kazu Kokobo of like half pipe riding. I mean, Kazu came from pipe, but
Yeah. When the pipe rider go into the backcountry, they understand transition.
oh, dude, they're the best.
Once they learn how to land in POW,
Correct answer.
yeah, because they understand, transition so much better than like back in the days, you had the backcountry people that were not good in the park, and they were pretty limited in the backcountry. Like they
With
did,
tricks for sure.
They did what they did. They did tricks, and they were pretty much at one point those people vanish because when you had to step it up with tricks, it again a generation disappear and a new one came in.
Continue to ride the park so you don't lose your skills.
You have to.
But ride pipe if you can, so you understand transition. Because every rider since the beginning of time who is the absolute best at backcountry rode halfpipe, like Nicholas Mueller, Terrier, Blauvelt, Pat Moore. Like you list Kazu, like the best, all come from pipe.
Rabu. They got
Raibu. Renzi grew up riding pipe.
Yeah.
Ika, Arrow, both of them they're pipe
Yeah.
kids from fucking
Yeah.
Finland. Like
But then a lot of the riders, like at one point, I remember
Torstein might be the
Reno,
only one.
Benji, all those guys at one point that were not riding on their days off when they were not filming. All of them were just sitting at home waiting for the good weather. They were not riding the park.
Partying, drinking.
Yeah, and they were not like keeping their skill. And I think that's a thing for backcountry riders. Like when the weather's shitty and stuff, go ride the park. Keep your tricks. Because I've seen riders that were insane, winning big airs, doing crazy trick, double rodeo, and then at one point they couldn't do, like we got in the backcountry and they were lost in the air, couldn't do their tricks anymore because they didn't ride park. They stopped riding park. And I think it's a big keep on day. And now when riders like, oh, it's gonna be shitty for next year, I'm like, oh, we're gonna go. I'm like, go ride the hill. Like keep riding like that. When the good day, the sunny day comes, you're like, your feet are there. You're not being sitting on the couch doing nothing. Like, oh, it's sunny. I gotta chuck myself off this like 80-foot jump and try like double front cork or whatever, like cab 10 on it.
I mean, Ika is still snowboarding and he's still filming. Like he had clips recently in Knights of the Brown Table, and he's still filming. But Ika snowboards a lot.
Yeah.
That's the reason why he's still able to do that.
Yeah. And you saw, I think, the backcountry, you saw the guys that went and rode the park a lot. And now they do, like when filming, like Brock, when he did, like he rides a park, like it'll be shitty backcountry. Oh, we're going filming tomorrow? Oh, no, it's going to be shitty. Okay, I'm going to go ride the park. They don't like
stop.
Yeah, they keep their skill, and you see it, like same with the, Takaru and Rabu, those two are the next. The next generation, for a bit, it was for backcountry. There was not a lot of new guys, and the older guys started
looking old.
Well, recycling,
yeah,
jumping, going back every year the same. It's like, all right, we've seen it. Yeah. I remember one time, I think I called you guys, somebody out in the Man Boys crew on I think it was the Hollywood Cliff, maybe.
Oh,
and
probably.
I remember Rance loved like underneath. I was like, I think my comment, I said, time for new jump, boys. And I remember, I think you guys, some of you guys were a bit like, they were like, whatever. You guys are pissed at me. But I was like, okay, like this is starting to get old.
Well, the thing is, if you're gonna go and hit Hollywood, which I hit, and I front 3'd it one year, and it was in like a K2, just the web edit. And I remember using that clip and being like, I'm glad this is in a web edit that no one's gonna see, because a front 3 on a thing that I've watched forever is not the vibe. And I was a portion of my career where I was just hitting whatever to get whatever shots to keep it going. And honestly, if I had advice for the new crew, it's kind of just work a little harder and find your own shit. Because Mark Sollers is great at that. And he got mentored by Renzi.
Yeah.
But like, Mark is always going to the same zones we always go to. And he's a big build a jump guy. But he always finds a new fucking gap or something.
He takes off on his own.
Yeah, takes off on his own.
It comes back 2 hours later.
Yeah, no,
he's like, I got something built.
Totally.
Where were you? I was over there. I found something.
Can anyone else hit it? No, it's late in the day. I'll do it. Perfect front 3.
But yeah, there's something new. Like you take like Rabu and Takaru, and even like this last winter with like Mesa and Jar, like Emery. Like those guys are like machine, man. Like sometimes they're like, oh, I'm gonna hit that cliff. I was like, that thing, man, looks flat. It's like 40 feet. I'm like, sure. And they just fucking front through, boom. I'm like, whoa. Like it's pretty sick. I think there's a new generation of backcountry riders right now that are coming up that are gonna push the envelope a bit.
Yeah, like I think modern day true life kind of energy.
Yeah, I think you're going to see it's hard now because there's not a lot of videos. It's kind of, but I think there is a new generation now that's starting to push that are
Oh, Jack,
Like, but
Bryn.
Yeah, dude, those guys. Yeah, Jack, Bryn, Rabu, Takaru, Mason. Like even like 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 bunch of Burton guys are like all the new kids.
Oh,
Like,
dude, Vraibu and Takaru are great plug. Those kids are ripping. Maybe we'll transition here a little bit into the final chapter. All right, we got this final section here presented by Arc'teryx. Thank you for supporting the show. We greatly appreciate it. First question I'm going to ask you is best style currently and back in the day.
Currently, that's a hard one. That I saw in the last couple years, man, Takaru style is pretty. Yeah, that's Takaru, Rabu too, but Takaru's got just insane style, dude. I think.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Love both of those.
Like when he does a trick, he grabs and just, I don't know. He rides with power and has insane style.
He's got like the same compact style as like your brother Devin. Like he's small, light, and he's got like explosive power.
Oh, dude, insane and his tricks, like just with being a park,
light,
park.
big board.
Yeah, big board, and his when he grabs it, like just doesn't move, like I don't know, pretty insane style. Back in the days, like from the early days to well, it depends on
a style that spoke to you more rather than like.
Ah, man, there was so many good. Like honestly, good style too. Like Pete style, like backcountry, Devin, just the nonchalant kind of like smooth style.
You ever get to film Mark Frank? He kind of had like a Devin.
Yeah. No, Marco. I did film Mark. Yeah.
No way. For what?
A bunch here for Instant Deliver, and they cut him out in the movie.
They cut him out? He got chopped?
I don't know why. Yeah, dude, he had he was pissed. That's when he filmed with Kingpin after. I don't know why. He had such good stuff. And he loved sledding. He was a good sledder. He came here and they came with me and Jeff and Gaetan a bunch of time. He came up here, filmed a lot. Like he was a really good style. Yeah. There was a guy that could ride like rails and backcountry really good. Alistair Schultz honestly had like Gabe Crane too in the 90s. If you watch old Mackdawg video, there's a snowboarder that was insane and kind of one point just kind of quit. And Ron Rogers, early 90s.
Oh yeah, his D is insane.
Yeah, very, very, very good stuff.
Him and Tarquin or whatever, like that whole group.
Yeah.
Like to me, when I look back, I'm like, that's what I would have been into. Like those guys are sick.
Yeah. Ron was like, art hungry to homeless.
Yeah.
Like, his part, but yeah, modern day, there's a lot of the guys have their own style, Like Brock's got good style too. Crouch.
Yeah.
Good steez.
A favorite snowboard film.
Old one or kind of middle one?
Let me just rephrase that. Let's say a snowboard film that every kid and snowboarder should watch. Maybe that's a better question.
Resistance is pretty, because it's short. It's short, it's good. And it was, I think, impactful as far as like progression, especially in the backcountry and rails too. For sure. Resistance, like if kids want to see like a good video, good music, good editing, good filming.
The intro's awesome too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That movie, True Life's pretty good too. But like I think Resistance is pretty old one. The Hard Hungry, the Homeless, when that came out. That was the video we watched every day in Whistler, like early night before you go snowboarding. And I remember there was only one part that people and my friend cut it out. He dubbed it, and then he cut out Dave Hatchett's part in it because it wasn't a freestyle part.
He took it out.
Yeah,
and then,
he took it out and made another VHS without his part in, because he was more of a backcountry big line guy, big cliff, you know, like he wasn't freestyle, and his part was a bit odd in that video. It didn't fit with the rest of the video. But that video was good. Critical Condition was pretty sick. But you watch the old video now, people kind of be like, you know, like they get bored. But for me, short videos are better. Definitely.
all right. Favorite clip of your brother?
I don't know. It's got to be some of the old one in Europe or here, like pointing line, straight line. He pointed like he did crazy shit, dude. Like he, you know, he had sometime on jump and stuff, he had squirrely style a bit, but people didn't understand the speed and how big some of the stuff he was doing, and at the speed hitting it, you can't be, you know. But yeah, he was gnarly at pointing. His board control was pretty insane. Like stuff that most people would get nervous and like, I'm gonna die. He was really calm and like pulling out, you know what I mean? Like he was solid, dude. He could come out of stuff in the gnarliest stuff, 100 miles an hour, and like he had very, very good stomping skill. Like very solid leg for a little dude.
What's one lesson that he taught you? Life lesson. I feel like he's such an incredible human. That's hard to know.
I don't know, man. Like just always have fun, you know? Like just not take stuff too seriously.
Has
like,
he always been like that?
Yeah. Like him, he hated like people were like, you know, like you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't grab like this. He was like, fuck those guys. Like I remember even like early days I filmed Romain and Mickey Albin for Stand Deliver. And they came out with me and JF and Gaetan for like a couple weeks. You know, oh, those guys are coming from Europe, film with you. And I actually got some sick footage of them. And they got cut out of the video. Because, yeah, I think, you know, back then, some of the form riders were deciding who was good or not, which was completely stupid, you know. I think. I never agree with it. I thought, you know, a lot of snowboarders took shit from other snowboarders, you know. I never saw, and I used to tell them, I was like, don't take this shit, go fucking thump him, right? I would have punched him, you know. But it wasn't, it just, yeah, I think like those guys got cut out because, oh, their style was too flaily, you know, like, oh, his arms are turning like Romain style, but Romain and Mickey were hitting stuff 100 miles an hour.
It's also their style. Like
Yeah,
you need to find the right music to edit that to, because it's fucking ripping.
But there was the style where I think in the States, you know, here you had to be perfect. Everything had to be perfect for the Mack Dawg video. No hands on the ground, no flailing. If not, it was gone. Like it was crazy. It had to be perfect, the clips. Because some writers said it had to. Not really Mike, I think, as much. But yeah. And I think my brother was so against. He was like, fuck this, man. That's why in the gathering, he's like, I'll fit, you know. Like, it was more him about like, go have fun. And don't worry about, people were always worried, especially now. Like, they need to clip everything. It's like people don't live in the moment anymore. Like people just, they live through their fucking phone, dude. And it's pretty sad. Like even when I'm in the bike park, I get in the line at the bottom, nobody talks to each other. Everyone's on their phone in the chair and they're all looking at their clip they did. They stop. Even the other day I'm I'm going to, and the guy's like, no, dude, what are you doing? We're filming. I'm like, fuck, go fucking find a trail somewhere else. I don't care, man. Like
We're in the park.
yeah, I'm like, but it's more, you know, like I feel like he was more like, go have fun. Like if somebody films it, cool. You know, like film it, but don't. He always filmed new guy. People like, oh, his style's not good. My brother's like, dude, he's gnarly. He just front three this 40-foot cliff. Yeah, he turned his hand. So what? You know, he's like, it doesn't matter. It was sick. I think he always like just have fun and like, yeah, don't be too serious about stuff. Just
That's like the time I did have with him, which was always magic because I mean it was always just like he's kind of like a Jeff Keenan figure, a little bit like people that I wouldn't specifically plan to hang out with, but you would bump into them, and then their impact every time you would hang out with them would be like way. Every time I hung out with your brother, it was like a highlight. You know, you get back to the lot with your crew and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm so glad we ran into him. Because it's like, I live for the banter in the backcountry, in the
Yeah.
sled lot, watching somebody cab 5, catch their toe and land on their head and they're fine. And you all get to laugh on your sleds.
Yeah.
Like, I live for that. And the times I would meet him would be like when you all funnel down to the bottom of the S chute. And then he's just like, oh man, someone's fucking sled was going 500 miles an hour. Like, just like one of the best storytellers of all time. But like, what an energy to be around. And like, just as like, yeah, he's your brother, but like, what a privilege to get to hang out with that homie for such a long time. Like, one of the coolest people I've ever met in my life, without a doubt, is Martin Gallant. Like,
Yeah.
fucking legend, dude.
Yeah, no, just like always like just, you know, you want to do something, do it, you know?
Totally.
Like, and you know, like growing up to like always pushing, like, you know, like what he did, like, you know, pushing people. He was good at pushing people. And even his crew, when people didn't go big enough, he did on the gathering crew, he made sure he told them pretty hard. I forgot the name. I'm not going to say any name, but someone, they were hitting a jump and the one person, good style, good trick, but kept going like pretty small and landing in the same spot every time. And my brother's like, dude, this, you know, you're going too small. And my brother went and took a shit in the where that he was landing. He's like, well, I just took a shit in your landing, so you better go bigger. If not, you're gonna have a shitty time. And I remember the rider, he was like, what did you do? And he was like, I just took a dump right where you land. So if you want to hit it, you gotta go bigger.
You gotta go bigger. You're gonna land in my shit.
Yeah. He was, you know.
That's incredible because we've definitely hit jumps before where like a rider or myself or somebody gets stuck in a rut and you keep cab fiving into the same hole. And as a filmer or a spectator, you're like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
Sometimes it's hard because you can't, you know what I mean? But
Only
it's,
so much run up or whatever.
Yeah, but I think he wasn't scared of telling people, you know, like he was just like he wanted, like he was good at getting the best out of people. And I think as a filmer too, some people like, oh, it is your job a bit to tell people to not call them out in a bad way. But if they're like, oh, let's build that jump there. And I know for a fact, for a fact that it's going to look small or like shit, you should say something.
Mentorship.
Yeah. And then they'd be like, it's cool, but it's sunny. It snowed 2 feet. Do we want to waste 3 hours on that? And it's a B-roll, you know? Like I found these days because of social media and stuff, a lot of people, you'll go out and they'll be like, oh, let's get some slashies there. I'm like, we have 1 day this week. It just snowed. It's sunny. I'm like, what are we doing? Why at the end of the day, when we come back, if we see an opportunity for slashy, let's get it. I find it's kind of an important thing now. People like, we got to get slashy. I'm like, they're cool, but pretty much everybody in the Sea to Sky, their mom, their dad can do them. You know what I mean? Like
You're getting paid to snowboard. If you want to keep this going, maybe cab 7 this gap.
yeah, let's go find something, and when we're done,
when we're done being a professional, which separates you from everybody else in the Sea to Sky who can do turns.
But I think social media brought that a lot. It's people don't have their like the B-rolls as important, you know?
Relatability.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we can get that. It's a good gram. It's good for the gram. But then I'm like, the snow's going to turn to shit tomorrow. We have 1 day, dude.
Which
One day.
rider do you think most lives for not the gram? That you like hang out with, that you ride, that you're around with, that's just like,
That want to get like big stuff.
that's just more focused on the shot than the gram. Like undeniably, when they're out with you, they are out there to try and film the best snowboarding possible.
In the last little while, last couple of years. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I think Ben, Fergie, and those guys like Mikkel and that. It's hard because they need in their I think in their contract now they need to feed their Instagram. They need so many clips a month, so they're like, oh, I'll do this for the gram, And I find a lot of we waste time shooting shit for the gram.
There's nothing worse than being like, we're going to shoot shit for the gram because that's what the sponsor wants. Then it's the end of the year.
Yeah.
And then the sponsor hits you up and go, where's all the jump shots?
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, I'm balancing that out with getting stuff for the gram. And then they get upset that they don't have enough like A+ for their video they just spent $500,000 on. It's like, dude, like pick your poison. Do you want me to be a professional snowboarder or an influencer?
Well, that's the thing.
You got to balance it. I understand, but
yeah, I think the gram stuff, you should go get it when the snow's not as good. The weather's not as good. You know what I mean? Go on the hill, get some gram stuff, or go in the low zone, like when it's shitty weather, and build some fun jump through the trees, get some gram stuff, some slashy, But I think when it's good weather, riders have to, like, it's sold short now, especially our winters are so shitty. That when it's good, man, you just go for it.
5 days a year that are stable,
Yeah,
blue,
like,
sunny,
go
35 plus centimeters, like clock in.
Yeah, go clock in, do something impactful. You know what I mean? Like, because there's a lot of days to.
That's
go get the
mentorship
smell.
though,
Yeah.
because Rusty went and filmed with John Jay for the Forum Fuck It year.
Yeah.
And then we later on started Man Boys, and Rusty always had that energy of like focus,
did,
because John, on one of the days that Rusty was with him, hit I think 3 or 4 different features, all A+ grade shots, and got 6 clips that day. And Rusty's like, that's what you can do in a day if you can clock in. And like Rasman's got that where he can clock into gnarly multiple times in a day.
Yeah.
Myself, a couple other of the riders, you know what I mean? I think we could do it like maybe once, maybe twice, but like it takes a special rider to be like to multi-clock in to A+ shots. But like that's what you can extract out of a good day.
Yeah.
If you're all in on snowboarding, is you can get 3 A+ bangers, or you can get your slashy. Oh, let's shoot it again.
Yeah. There's days where we're out. I was like, really, we're doing this? We're shooting slashy here? I'm like, fuck, let's keep moving, man. Mikey's good. Mikey could clock in gnarly stuff in the day. And he's good to have as mentorship with that team because now his role, I think, is
mentorship.
Yeah, he is. He's still like there. If he gets a clip, cool. But I don't think there's no pressure of filming, But he's good because when we're like at stuff and it's like, oh, what do you think of that, Mikey? And I've seen it, when we film Pave, like, Mikey's like, yeah, he's like mediocre to Graham style. And it's like, okay, we'll move.
And the way he says
like,
Graham is comical.
Yeah.
He's
like, yeah, for the Graham. So it's like, that means,
yeah,
let's keep moving. And I'm sure when we did that movie, I'm like, hey, when they point stuff small, I'll say something, but do too,
Okay, massive sidebar there. Moving back on, your one tip for sledding that we forgot to give.
To get good at sledding?
Just one tip for sledding.
Well, you don't be a beep,
Yeah.
like don't be.
That's good. That's honestly, we can keep it at that.
Yeah, if you are, well, don't be, like use your power, and just start slow. Some people scare themselves, you know what I mean? They get into situation like right away. They don't go sledding, and then it's like blue and okay, we're going that zone. They're like, and they're super nervous, And especially the new sled, a lot of people use their arms too much. Like they try to manhandle. They fight against the sled, against what it does. Like you can use your core and your lower body's almost more important than your arm sledding. Because it's all about like especially the new sled, you can balance everything, lean, and you get a bit aggressive and not scared. And go practice. When it's shitty day and it snowed, go get stuck. Learn, and do not stop on flats when there's pow or uphill ever. Always park your sled facing downhill, please.
Don't be a bitch and aim downhill when you're in the powder. That's honestly, the aim downhill it's wild that it took me so long to understand that one. But like, I think it's because you get up to the group and you see everybody hunkered down. So then you just get to the group. I'm like, you're here. And then it's like, yeah, you're here, but you parked uphill and now we're all leaving going downhill. And you're like up there alone and you're like, fuck.
Yeah. No, like go practice even when it's like shitty days. Go a Brandywine Bowl at the bottom and go practice, And that's why I tell people, I'm like, go before, because when it's a sunny day, waiting for people all day and getting them unstuck sucks. It's not good. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. All right. Who is the greatest filmer of all time? Or in your opinion, one of the greats? Other than yourself.
Oh, man, there's a lot. Like for sure, Mike McIntyre, like Mackdawg brought like a different style, Justin Ossinek too. Gabe Lang was a very good filmer. Very, very good.
That's a sick little plug.
Yeah. And who would I say? Oh man, there's a lot.
That's a good list. Those are some great filmers.
Yeah. Like there's a lot of people that came out with, different style and stuff too. Like it's not always good at everything. You have to be artsy to a point, I think. Like to do stuff, but you got to give the feature make it look good,
Mm-hmm.
If something's big and gnarly, try to make it look big and gnarly, because then the writers will get pissed. I've seen a lot of writers watching footage from other people, sometimes being like, fuck, they're like, this looks so small. Why did they film it from that,
There is something funny, though, about the filmer moving a couple times and then the writers, which rarely happens, but it's a story in the backcountry. And then the writer's like, it looks small. And you need somebody like Mikey to be there, be like, it's a little small. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like you're hitting a kind of small feature and you're getting mad at the filmer. It's like, well, dude, if you just hit massive shit, it typically always looks massive.
Yeah, like I a lot of time I pull that line more than once. I'm like, dude, I'm a filmer, not a magician. I'm like, if you're going 10 feet, you're going 10 feet. There's nothing I can do here, Go bigger. Like it's, you want your stuff to look big. If you had big feature, and I think as writer to work with the filmer to go look at their angles important too. Because a lot of time I was set up and people were like, oh yeah, it looks cool from there. Come check this angle. Then in the past, sometimes I was like, no, this is it, like go with your stuff. I'll do my work. I think most filmer went through that, but it's important to listen to the writers, because a lot of time they have super good eye and they know they're the one hitting the feature. And if they see it from somewhere where they're like, this is gonna
Look sick.
It's gonna look, it's gonna make the feature look really sick, And there's two, like Kurt Morgan, like as far as filmer, like when The Art of Flight came out, he brought it to the next level.
You got to give flowers where flowers are due.
Yeah, that Kurt, even like younger, like I met him at Mammoth when he was like, I think when I did Video Gang or before, and he was pretty young, but like I remember the first stuff he filmed, like when he was filming, his stuff was really good. Like right off the bat, I was like, ooh, that kid's he's got a super good eye, And then obviously when The Art of Flight, like he's the one that pushed it to the next level. But with a budget to do it. They were also like, I remember doing stuff after riders like, oh, can we shoot it like in the art of flight? I was like, well, there's one camera here. They had like 4, a drone, a jet. They had,
And
like,
I'm on lunch.
yeah, they had like a Phantom Flex, 3 red, a drone, a jib arm. I'm like, no, we cannot shoot it like that. Sorry, I'd like to, but we can't.
All right. Who is the GOAT, in your opinion,
Of snowboarding?
of snowboarding?
Wow. I think skill-wise, Hawken, for sure, up there, because he could ride everything, adapt to every terrain. Again, pipe rider from the beginning, but in the backcountry, jumps, everything. Yeah, I think if there'd be one, you can only choose one, I'd kind of say him. Not necessarily style on everything, Like you asked me the best method, well, that's Jamie Lynn. Because I like method between the binding. I'm not a fan of the front of binding, but that's me, But I think Turrier, as far as what he's done in snowboarding and what he achieved, like in contests and filming and projects and all that, I think he'll go down still as the best snowboarder ever.
There you have it.
To me.
Do you have any closing remarks or anything, or words of wisdom or shout outs or anything?
No, not really. Just have fun, man. Snowboarding's fun, and that's what my brother was about too. Just like, don't, do it for fun first. And then if you can make money at it, which these days is extremely hard. So, I think keep the fun in it. Once you make it too much of a business, it's you're not gonna have fun. And that's when people get burned out and stop doing it. So whatever you do, just do it 100 miles an hour, man. Life's short. You never know. Just give it 100% all the time.
I feel like I blinked and then like I'm on this like new chapter of, well, not snowboarding really, in 38, and I'm like, wow, like I moved here at 17 and thought I was gonna be 22 forever.
Same here. I moved at 17 and
same.
Yeah.
It happens fast. I like that. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Thanks to your dedication behind the lens and your patience with, European riders and Japanese riders of sorts, and just your dedication to the craft of filming and snowboarding. And maybe in closing, why do you love filming so much? I didn't really ask you that, but you've dedicated your life to this craft. Maybe we'll end on that.
Well, being in the mountain, first of all, but being stoked, seeing like progression, either filming, sledding, snowboarding or skiing. Like, I think it's just to be out there sledding, first of all. You get to sled all day. 90% of the day is sledding, not really riding but being in the mountain and watching, documenting progression, and it's fun. I like to document stuff, and makes me stoked when I film stuff that I know it's like banger, and the riders, like, it's people are gonna be stoked about it. I like it.
Fuck yeah, Pascal. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Thanks again. Cheers, everyone. I totally forgot to do a Patreon on this one, but shout outs to our Patreon members. Cheers. Take care, y'all. Peace.